3, 2, 1. Hey, pretty people. Welcome to Bouncing Brains. I'm Sean Hatfield.
And I'm Freddy G, and I want to apologize and not really apologize in advance because y'all came in the middle of the conversation and I don't feel like rewinding. So, I was, and I wasn't even going to start like this, bro. I had some other shit I got to say. Anyway, I was telling I was telling Sean, pretty people, that, he has a really, really sexy voice. I've been trying to convince him for the better half of 2 years now to try to become a 1-900 operator. Sean, I'm gonna ask you a question. You gotta do it for me and for the people, for the 3 people listening. Real quick, lean into the mic and just say, "So, what are you wearing?"
So, y'all know that Freddy has been trying to set up some sort of pimp service with all of our guests. He's tricked a few of them. We have some audio clips, and the video, to be honest, that could be used as what are we talking about? Audition tapes.
I have no recollection of the issue at question. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's the problem with a genuine pervert, is they don't know when they're doing. They're just like, "Let me smell your feet." And you're like, "Man, you asked me that already. Why are you still asking me?"
I will not agree or deny the accusations without a lawyer and a dictionary present.
I resemble those remarks. I think I told you this story, but I'm not entirely sure. And I actually have a picture from the night, which is why the memory stays fresh. And because it was flattering as fuck. I was doing an open mic at, did you ever do Yebaria Cultura?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I had that one incident, and part of the reason why
you never went back.
Yeah. And let me, because I mean, in case, somebody does listen to this, I do want to say this. I don't have anything against the place. I have genuine love for that place. I really, really do, and I mean it. I really do. My issue, and I want to go back. Let me add that as well. Whenever we get back up and running and they get the open mic, if they allow me back, I'd love to go back. But you have to understand that, like, as creators, whether it be music, comedy, or whatever, you can't tell people. You can't say that. You
can, but it's not going to work out the way you think it is.
I don't know, man. I think had the issue been like that, it's just an example, people, for the fucking people listening to. Hey, like,
is this when you were doing that bit about burning down the system? Yeah, I mean, yeah. When you start calling for violence.
It was. Well, hold on, because you're halfly joking. I'm not. It was when I was running the rape bit. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't. That's what I was gonna say. I wasn't encouraging anyone to rape anyone. Even when you look at what the bit is, which I don't remember it.
You were merely suggesting that rape is a thing that could occur in the world.
No, kind of.
Dude, I'll be honest. I don't remember the bit. That's how little you've did the bit.
Yeah, exactly. I've only, and I can tell you, in Texas, I've only performed that bit 4 times. Twice was at Cine del Rey.
Okay.
Bert laughed, just so you know. And the one time at Yerberia, and the other time was at a private party. And that went horribly wrong.
You did it 2 times at El Rey, once at Yerberia, and then once at
a private. Okay. And that went horribly wrong. Now, I don't know if it was because there was a bunch of white people, but yeah. Which... Yeah, I agree, and I'll shit on myself. I should have never done that at a private party. But
there are some, dude. That last gig I got to do with Mayhem. I
Oh yeah, y'all been performing without me and shit. I keep forgetting that people already.
I've gotten the chance to a couple times, man. We talked about this last time we recorded, but what I was going to say was it was one of those scenarios, and I think we've had this conversation, but where you get halfway through the joke and you go, "Oh, this gets real dirty," and you just kind of have to go, and then what happened?
Yeah,
that's the thing. A lot of these jokes, I have I'm not going to say watered down version. I just have a version that doesn't go, it's not as graphic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I don't.
That's one of the things I miss about doing like the coffee house open mics is you get the opportunity. It's like, okay, you know, you're going to walk in here and have to do a toned down or less graphic set or a less explicit set. Maybe not graphic. You actually, a lot of times you find some really good workarounds and tags doing that shit, because you're forced to not use the.
I've something that I figured out with that content, and it's funny because I'm gonna say this too. I haven't worked on it in a couple of weeks, but I started working on, not because anybody told me or anything, just because I wanted to, but I started working on a clean set. But I mean like a squeaky clean set.
You're talking like TV clean.
Yeah, even more. Like there's no cussing and there's no dirty jokes, of course. But what I mean as far as clean, like and again,
you trying to put together a church set?
Yeah, that's the best way that I could think of putting it, right? But what I'm saying is, first of all, it's not funny yet. I've read it over, and it's not long yet. It's about 3 minutes, I think. And think about it. Even 3 minutes, I'm struggling to make funny clean, you know? But, I just started doing it just because of the simple fact that I was like, I wonder if first of all, I was watching Jerry Seinfeld, the one of his stand-ups.
Right.
So then it kind of tickled my fancy, and I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can pull a Jerry Seinfeld. And so far as this update goes, I can tell you people, I can't. So
you are in fact not Jerry Seinfeld.
No, well, that too. But what I'm saying is, for people that say that Jerry Seinfeld is not a great comic, I will tell you, try to write a squeaky clean joke and be hilarious. And I challenge you to do that, because I try. I mean, it takes work. I get it. Even if it does happen, it's not going to happen overnight. But I mean, I just wanted to see where I would go.
Okay. How clean are we talking about?
Like I'm making fun of, not making fun of what I'm trying to make funny is everyday thing. Like everyday things, everyday actions.
Right.
And I'm not saying that, but I just mentioning that because I'm looking at it. Like fans, refrigerators. Why are refrigerators cold instead of hot? I'm not saying these are the jokes. I'm saying that these are the thoughts that are going through my head. Why do we use blinds? Other than for the obvious reasons. You know what I'm saying?
So they don't see your balls.
Yeah, but you can't say that.
See, now that's where my question lies, man. Is there are some places, I think a great fictional, at least, exploration of this was what's his name? The guy that did the show Crashing. I keep wanting to say Pete Davidson. That is not right at all.
No.
The guy that did the Batman parodies where
I can't think. I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of his name either.
He had a great special came out last year. I really enjoyed the fuck out of it. It was absurd shit. But there's a great episode of that show Crashing where he's doing a church set and they keep telling him, "We can't do this one, you can't do this one." And finally he's just like fuck. And he's doing biblical jokes, right? Like he's doing jokes about the Bible, but a lot of it is involving all of the dirty bits we don't talk about.
So see that what you just said there, that's what I was gonna go into. That again, I thought about it. people that don't know what it's like to write anything, you have to go first through a brainstorm thought process.
All right, like just to go back to the comment, why the blinds? So they don't see your balls. Well, you just say so they don't see you naked. Okay, how dirty?
It's got to be clean, like that.
Okay, but
like that, like so they don't see you naked. But see,
there's clean where I can't say the ultra descriptive bit, and then there's clean where I can't even mention at all.
No, you're making it too hard for me.
Because you've been into those places where they're like, "Hey, don't even bring up politics or blah blah blah." And
I've turned down like pretty big gigs because of that.
That's actually, if somebody tells me I can't cuss,
shout out to Corpus.
Here's the thing, though: if somebody tells me I can't cuss, I can live with that. I mean, I can literally it's like, okay, all right, cool. That just means I might have a few more pauses while I'm going through a bit, because I'll get to that point where usually I'll have the fuck moment and it won't be there. And I go, oh yeah, I got to use your big boy words. But having somebody say you can't reference these things, that's where shit gets real.
It's like, for example, I'll give you another example. Like, I even thought of how can I make sex funny without talking about it in detail.
Let me ask you, what clean comics are you listening to?
Jerry Seinfeld for now. It's because that's the direction where I want to. Like, he's the greatest example of like the direction.
Can I throw two names at you?
Let me give you a comparison. So I want to be with the clean set. Keep this in mind so you can understand where I'm going. With the clean set, I want to be as good and as deadly,
right,
as Joey Diaz, but as clean as Jerry. Because with Joey, if you look at Joey's material is great. But Joey's a storyteller. He's a raw, in your face, gonorrhea type of fucking like that's what he is, So, but
okay, I would say the polar opposite of Joey Diaz would be like Stephen Wright. Because think about it, he doesn't cuss, rarely goes into the explicit topics even, and it's so. Cool. Stephen Wright?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant Joey. I was like,
no. But what I'm saying is, Joey Diaz is hilarious because he's hitting you with so many details from so many different angles that, like, if you're not giving into the madness of it, it would, like, dude, I'd love to go see the motherfucker live one day just to see who walks out of the audience. Yeah. Because I'm assuming that motherfucker is going to walk somebody out of the crowd every time he gets on stage.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he's toned down or whatever, man. But point I'm getting to is this. He's not even hitting you necessarily with a joke necessarily. If you wrote down what he's saying on stage, it would not transcribe as a joke, as material either. Whereas Stephen Wright, his shit is so concise and methodical that all it is joke. You almost can't take any details out. So what I'm saying is, man, is to talk about trying to be like Joey Diaz without having I'm just saying it's a bad, I understand, but I'm saying that's a bad way to go for it, because the style that you're talking about with Joey Diaz is almost
clean but raw. Do you understand what that means?
Okay.
That's why I use the comparison of as clean as Jerry Seinfeld, but as raw as Joey. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, but I think you're aiming, you might be. Is it possible that you're aiming at the wrong place because of the fact that, okay, consider, one of the reasons I wanted to throw some names at you, I'm assuming you've seen Gaffigan before, right? Jim Gaffigan. Okay, what about Tom Papa?
Yeah. I'm a fan of Gaffigan. Mm-hmm. Tom Papa, I could
hit or miss.
I could do away with. No disrespect.
Hey man, to be honest, he's one of the guys that I find better in small amounts. I like to watch clips of him. When I watch the entire show,
yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
See, and with Jerry again, that's why I'm
just
using.
To be clear,
him.
I feel the same way about Seinfeld.
What do you mean?
I think out of the three of them, I think Gaffigan is the strongest. Let's say presence. Seinfeld, you have to go in almost for look, man, he's bought his own bullshit a long time ago. Not to say he's not a master craftsman, not to say he's not a hilariously insightful individual, but he is maybe not so far up his own ass that he's unapproachable, but he occasionally vacations in his own anus. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He understands. He knows who Jerry Seinfeld knows who Jerry Seinfeld is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can see that on stage. So occasionally I have a hard time approaching.
And that's I understand that, but I mean, you got to think about it. When you've been doing that for 30 years, it's kind of hard not to.
Why I throw a name. Okay. One of the reasons I do enjoy Papa is because of he's been that guy the whole time. Like if you go back and watch early Tom Papa, that's who he was. Whereas you can see Jerry Seinfeld easing into becoming Jerry Seinfeld. Now, Gaffigan, on the other hand, you can see him becoming, let's say a more, he's talking about his kids more. He's talking about being like, an older dude and perceiving shit from that vantage. But Gaffigan just seems like the most genuine on stage.
Yeah.
Not saying that's not craft work, by the way. That may very well be a performative act.
So like another example that I wanted to give you so you can understand where I'm going with it was I spent 30 minutes trying to write a sole bit about a pen. Just a pen. And the thought was, can I make a pen funny? You know what I'm saying? And the thought process behind that was, if I can manage to even write a 5-minute bit, 4-minute bit about a pen, but make it funny, not tacky, not cheesy, not retarded, and just make it funny. I figured if I can figure that out, I can kind of sort of take that approach to everything else. And that's now I wasn't gonna write the whole set, a whole 30-minute or a whole hour set of pens and refrigerators and fans and clothes. I wasn't gonna do that. But the simplicity and the clean, of like the subject matter is what I was going for.
Have you had any success with these? Like, I'm assuming the pen isn't the first exercise.
The pen, no. Like I said, I hammered it for 30 minutes and I wrote like 2 sentences, and those 2 sentences are still like not, you know what I'm saying?
To be honest, what it sounds like you're describing is, all right, we both written, unfortunate to say, both of us have written poetry at various points.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried haiku?
Yeah.
Okay. It's annoying as fuck, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
5s and 7s, 9. Yeah.
But it does, as an exercise, I have written, I would say, maybe a couple of 100 haikus in my life.
No, I haven't even gotten that far, and I've been writing poetry since I was about 12.
Okay, I like the haikus because it's very similar to like ditties. You know what I mean? Like 3 or 4 stanza, just da 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 da. Anyway, it's I find it useful as an exercise because when you get, it's almost like Twitter used to be and still kind of is. Dude, seriously, they need to go back to 140. We could talk about the social media shit in a bit, but what I was going to say was having that restriction makes your word choice stronger, makes your sentence structure.
I get it.
What I'm saying is you seem to be stressing.
I still support 280. But go ahead.
Seem to be stressing over the idea that you're not getting stage-worthy material out of this. Okay, what I'm saying is this might be some shit that you just write in a notebook and never even fucking bring out again. I'm saying like it's a good exercise.
No, but I don't want to. That's not the point.
I think you're coming at it from the wrong. No, you're not wasting your time.
No, not that I'm wasting my time. Not like that. Because that's not what I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. What I meant was what I want to do is it's because when I set my mind to do something, it bothers me until I do it. Right. So what I'm trying to do is now that I've got the bug, unfortunately, the bug is not going to go away until I go on stage and I at least give you 10 minutes of squeaky clean material.
Okay, I'm not suggesting that the effort to write the clean material might be where the issue, where you're having the hang up. I'm saying that trying to, like when you say, and I know you're being general about when you say, I'm going to write a joke about a pen. It's like, okay, nobody wants to hear. You may have a hilarious fucking story about an interaction involving a pen, about somebody stealing your pen, about somebody.
Oh, so you know what else you know what else I thought?
Okay.
So I was like, because you just clicked in my head and my ADD and shit. But so I thought
that's only an excuse for so long, Freddy.
I tried to write a bit about a pen.
Right.
Like you're saying, like the experience with the pen, and nothing was coming out. So the other side of my brain gave me another idea, and it's like, I thought, why don't you give a pen personality and character and kind of sort of bring that pen to life? So then I started fucking around in the surreal. That's it.
Okay. Just hey, let him know. We got a phone call coming in, but let him know we're on the podcast.
Hey, brother. Hey, man, what's good? Hey, before you continue, man, I want to let you know that you are live on a live recording of my podcast. Is that cool? All right. Hey, one of the reasons that I wanted to bring you on the phone live on my podcast was because on this episode I was gonna make the big announcement, but since you're here and you're the promoter and you're the one making all this shit happen, I would like for you, first of all, introduce yourself, and then for you to make the announcement.
All right. So do I do this in my Nebraska voice, or do I do this in my South Texas voice?
Dude, keep it original in your Nebraska voice.
Right. No, because I spent time in South Texas, entonces ya sabes, un saludo grande para toda la raza y toda la banda allá, ¿verdad? Que se animan. Lo que está pasando ahorita es que este vato es travieso, Freddy G, de McAllen, Texas, del Rio Grande Valley. You know what, man? We're bringing you up here to Lincoln, Nebraska. My name is El Gato Felix Isel. Born and raised in Lincoln, Nebraska. Traveled all over, worldwide, as far as traveling goes, right? And we're having a good time. We got a comedy show up here. It's called the Gato Comedy Showcase. And we do a fantastic show. It's we have a great streak going right now. We're 100% sold out shows. All we've ever done is sell out shows, and we continue to sell out shows in the hundreds. And so we want to bring Freddy G on up here. We're really excited to have Freddy G coming up for our April Foolishness show. It's going to be April 2nd and 3rd in Lincoln, Nebraska. That's right. Lincoln, Nebraska, middle of nowhere. If you get a map of the country, you point it right to the middle of the country, you'll find us. We're the Star City, we're the capital city here in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Hey, let me give y'all a hint. It's Go Huskers. If y'all into big time, if y'all into college football.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we had those championship years, but we hang on to them. Big tradition, of course, of college football. And football, I mean, we all know that when it comes to football, Texas is king, for football, but we do all right over here in Lincoln. So, Freddie, I was calling you back, man. I saw I missed your call. I think you were calling me back. But yeah, we've got your flight lined up. We've got your room, your board. You've got the number one stage, which is Romology. It's a fantastic venue here. We've got the comfortable seating, the lounge seating, the great drinks, the mixology going on. So you're going to come up here. You're going to have a VIP experience. And our crowd is absolutely fantastic. So, and the thing is that we're always looking for talent. So anyone there that's listening to this podcast, definitely hit Freddy up. And he'll put you in contact with me. Again, I'm El Gato Felix Giselle. We are so excited to have you, Freddy G. the Travieso, coming up here, bringing your brand of South Texas, of Rio Grande Valley humor, way up here to the Midwest. We're freezing our cacahuates off.
I feel you, brother, and that's one of the biggest things I fear about going up there. I'm not too good with the cold weather, you know what I'm saying? So, I might have to get used to that. Hey man,
well, I tell you what.
But
I was gonna say, by the time April 2nd and 3rd rolls around, it's gonna be springtime, and springtime in Nebraska is absolutely beautiful. We're gonna have beautiful weather. We're gonna have great drinks. We're gonna have a totally VIP experience for you, man. You're our headliner. We're so excited to have you on board, dude. We're going to roll out the red carpet for you, and I just hope that you feel that good Nebraska welcome. And I tell you what, man, a lot of people sleep on Lincoln, Nebraska, but what we've created here with the Gospel Comedy Showcase is a fantastic comedy experience unlike any other, man.
Thank you so much, brother, and I can't wait to experience it. I know we're going to have a blast, and thank you for all those credits that you gave me. I just want to let you know you've added just that much pressure, and I greatly appreciate it.
Well, you know what, man? Pressure breaks pipes, but pressure also makes diamonds, dude, and I think that we've got a diamond with you. You're our headliner. We're super jacked up. We're super stoked to have you. So, I hope you like rum, because we've got rum by the barrel full just waiting for you here at Romology. That's here in Lincoln, Nebraska. So, yeah, man, again, El Gato, that's me. Romology is the spot. Freddy G is our headliner, and we're so excited to have you, bro. Can't wait to have you, man.
Thank you so much, man. And as soon as I'm done with this recording, well, I mean, I can let you know on air. I don't give a shit.
Sure.
I think you said that I was gonna get my plane tickets by email. I haven't received an email. Yeah. I haven't received it.
What happened is because we purchased the tickets, I put them in underneath the Gospel Comedy Syndicate email. So I will forward you those tickets, but you're flying out of your hometown. We're gonna fly you right out. We're gonna have someone pick you up at the airport, man, and whatever you want, we're gonna have it ready for you, man. We got a cold drink, or a warm drink, or some food, whatever you want, man. But we're gonna have the VIP service for you, waiting for you here in Nebraska. So you just get to the airport in McAllen. We'll fly you up here. We've got everything else taken care of for you, man. We can't wait for you to headline. We're really excited to have Freddy G on our stage at Romology.
All right. I thank you for that, man. There you go, people. You heard it here first with the Bouncing Brains. And this is also for other people that thought I was bullshitting. There you go. Concrete proof. This is not a paid actor. All right, man. Let me.
Actually, I'm a producer that pays out, man. I do the payment. You receive the payment, and we'll look forward to seeing you, man. I'll get off this phone and let you get back to your podcast. Lots of love from Nebraska, homeboy.
All right, I love you, man. Thank you so much. I'll keep in touch with you later. Take it easy.
All right, I can watch your
All right. And there you go, people. I meant that. Because I remember, you know what, man? You know what I just noticed? we've been trying to get this show together for over a year. The very first time that I announced that I was going was January 21st of...
Man, it's farther
19.
back. Yeah, I was gonna say it's
19.
Leo was here, I believe. We were we were excited as fuck. We were having a little production meeting, and we were like,
So now it's finally happening. In case y'all wondering why I couldn't get it done sooner, we couldn't get it done sooner. I'm gonna keep it all the way real with y'all. COVID, fuck COVID. COVID got in the way, and we man, I'm gonna go out and say it on record now that I can openly talk about it. We've talked about it off camera and off the fucking podcast before, but 2020, man, 2020. I'm not gonna say it was supposed to be my breakout year and that I was gonna become fucking famous and my career was gonna. But what I'm saying is, 2020 was lining up for me to be a very fruitful year. I'm not gonna go into detail because I don't want to mention any names because then I'll probably make them feel like shit. But because none of it happened. But just so y'all can have an idea, in 2020 I was getting ready to do. That was one of the shows that I was gonna do in early 2020, and then This is what I haven't told anybody except for you off camera. I was actually getting ready to go on tour. And when I say tour, I'm not saying McAllen, Far, San Juan, Alamo, and Donna. I'm saying I was actually getting ready to go on like a national tour. I mean, it wasn't like 30 or 40 dates or anything like that.
You were going to change time zones at least twice.
No, a bit more than that, I think. Because they were solid for sure. Were 18 dates, and I was looking at 22 possible. Right. But solid for sure. Were 18 for sure. And the beautiful thing about it was that I was gonna be paid for all of them. And I'll give you all a better idea. With the money that I was gonna make, there was no way in hell that I was gonna be able to get around not paying taxes. So I'm just saying, man. Like I had a national tour planned out with about 18 dates. Nebraska was gonna be one of them. He's not the promoter that was doing the other 18 dates. Like I said, I'm not gonna mention any names because I'd make that person feel like shit. But I was gonna do that, and then I was also in the middle of. I haven't been, for the people that don't know, I haven't been out the country in years, so I was actually planning my next trip out of the country in 2020 after the tour. Again, you get it? The tour money that I kind of never had, so I was like, why not? I haven't been out country.
Right. You were going to go give as much money to foreign government before Uncle Sam wanted his cut.
Of course, see, Sean gets it. You know what I'm saying? Sean gets it. So, I was planning actually a trip to, I've always wanted to go to England. So, I ain't never been to England. I've heard English pussy is great. You heard it here first, maybe. No, I'm fucking with y'all. But, I really wanted to go to. I've always wanted to go to England, so I was planning a trip to go to England, and I was basically penciling all of that out, and then I was planning to come back and start doing shows again, or continue doing shows here locally. But I was planning all of that, and I was like, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna go on this tour. And then COVID came, and COVID said, "Your ass ain't going nowhere." So COVID fucked up my 2020. But I'll be honest with you.
Let's be genuine here. COVID didn't do shit. State governments fucked you over.
Well, you know what I mean.
County governments fucked you over.
Okay, but hold on. Time out. See, that's the problem.
You know damn well if those shows had happened, people would shown up and paid money for the tickets.
I'm not saying...
Now, you might have got sick and then COVID might have fucked you up.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just didn't want to tickle that monster. But you're right. That exactly.
Motherfucker, all right.
Because...
I'm not going to give a date to this because, you know what? From now on, we're doing Everfresh, motherfucker. We're just talking about... But let's be real here. There is some shit that we could talk about on the national level. We don't have to get to the nitty gritty of the local details, which frankly, the local.
By the way, let me ruin everybody's weekend.
No, Freddy, don't stop me. Hidalgo County can suck my dick. That's what I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it loud.
Let me ruin everybody's weekend just like they ruined my week a couple of weeks ago. I want to give y'all a heads up so y'all can, if y'all haven't heard it yet, hopefully it doesn't happen. I'm on y'all side, but just want to let y'all know if y'all haven't been keeping up with the news. I mean, we all know that the news is bullshit at this point, but if you haven't been keeping up with the news, it looks like, again, I hope and pray it doesn't happen, but it looks like we are on the brink of another national shutdown. Let's hope. Biden's stupid ass said that he's not gonna do it because he verbally said that he wasn't gonna do it because he feels that that's not the answer. But he's doing other things that seem otherwise. So
this looks like one of those situations where it's like, ow, twist my arm harder. They don't want to try to implement a national shutdown because they know damn well there's going to be issue with that. But they also don't want to.
There was an issue the first time and they still did it.
They never did a national shutdown. We never had a national shutdown.
We had it at the beginning.
No, we did not have a national shutdown. We have never had a national shutdown. The closest we had was a limiting of air travel and sea travel from certain countries.
I like how you say certain countries. Sean means certain countries like China. But
oh, yeah. Well, no, here's the thing. We didn't shut down a lot of the flights from China.
No, I mean like after.
I'd like to point out once again, it was motherfucking Biden and Pelosi and fucking a lot of these cocksuckers in the DNC that were screaming, "You can't shut down air traffic from China." That's what's the word I'm looking for? Racist.
In the famous
what they
words
meant was it's gonna hurt my bank account.
Yeah, in the famous words of the good old Cat Williams, everything in my house is made from China. Oh man.
Oh shit. Hey, did you see I think Netflix is putting up all of Cat Williams' old specials.
They've had them for a while. They've had 5 of them for a while.
The only reason I noticed is they had one of my favorite clips.
Have you ever seen the very, very, and it's on Netflix right now. If you haven't, you should watch it. It's like an hour and 40 minutes long, but well worth it. Have you ever seen the very, very first ever actual special that he put out?
Green Suit?
No, that was it. No, bro, he blew up by then. That was the Pimp Chronicles. No.
Okay.
It's called. It's got the simplest name. You could tell that he was still very new to the business side of it. It's called Cat Williams Live. And he's wearing like jeans and a fucking plaid shirt. Or plaid jacket, rather. And a white hat.
Yes.
He's very like fucking... He's very like... I'm not saying he doesn't know how to dress, but combinations are all fucked up.
I could not quote you any material from that one.
I could. And it's not because... I mean, I've seen it recently, but I mean recently, like 6 months ago. But...
Well, here, let me throw you a bit. You can tell me, because I know this is one of his early specials, but the clip that I came across, I was like, fuck yeah, because I wasn't able to find it for years on YouTube, was the Pimp Decisions, where he's talking to his kid about buying the video game.
Yeah, well, that's on...
That's that special. Okay,
on that special.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the contrary, from what you're saying, there's so many bits that I can quote you from that special that to me were just hilarious.
By the way, when I say I can't quote it, I mean I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah.
It's not in my... That bit, though, is that... Yeah. From the first time I saw that bit, I was like, that is fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Cat, one of the most underrated comics in my point of view. That people like, that he slipped under the radar or whatever. But to me, he's hilarious. Which brings me back to the point that we were talking about with like some of his bits. Which is the point. I'm also tying this to Jerry Seinfeld, and this is the whole point I wanted to make. So Jerry Seinfeld has all these bits, right, that are very squeaky clean. Now, in the short period of time that I've been studying and trying to write this shit, I figured out one key. I don't know how many keys there is to writing a clean set, but I figured one clear one.
Don't say cunt.
With that too, that's very important. But what I'm saying is, by the way, triple shot espresso in a can from Starbucks. Fuck you. I don't feel not one of those fucking 3 shots that are supposedly in that can. That hasn't done shit to me.
I know I've said this to you off mic, but I will say this on mic so anybody listening can receive the benefit of this information and stop giving other people their money. Espresso is flavor. It is not more caffeine. As a matter of fact, it is less caffeine than a regular cup of coffee.
So I got a question before we get back to the important shit.
Yeah, you wasted your money.
No, but what? So I have a question with that, and I don't know if you know because you're not the expert on it, but why is it that I've drank black coffee, right? You get like a dark roast or whatever, and I drink it black because it's stronger, right? Why is it I've drank a regular 20 ounce or 12 ounce cup of black coffee, right? Mm-hmm. Drink it. And I'm not saying within the same day. Like, let's say next day I drank another, black coffee. So I already drank one the day before. And caffeine hits you just normal. I have a high tolerance for caffeine. Let's put it that way. Right. But I feel something in my head. I feel, and it's okay. Why is it that the next day I drink the same black coffee, but why is it that when I add 1 shot of espresso, it does feel stronger caffeine wise? It does. I can tell the difference. Now, that's taking out the fact that the time that I feel that caffeine high is short-lived, but I feel it. Why? If it's not supposedly,
I would assume off the top of my head that it's something similar to like the balance you have in cannabis with THC and CBD.
Oh, that's way different.
Okay, not necessarily.
I started shaking hands with Jesus and stuff. He hit the blunt 2 times.
Believe me, I've almost made it there on caffeine. I was pulling the fucking Red Fox. I'm coming to see you, baby. We all right. Like, we know there has to be a certain amount of THC to activate the CBD, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, think about it like with. All right. One of the reasons that espresso has less caffeine than a regular cup of coffee is because you're doing it hotter and you're doing it for a shorter period of time. Like, you're just forcing the hot water straight through. So all you're getting is the oils and the flavonoids. Whereas when you're kind of steeping it a little bit, you're getting a lot more of, I'm assuming you're getting the alkaloids, the fucking, the tannins and all that stuff, which is why, a cup of black coffee there's more to it, like on the tongue, kind of physically. Whereas with espresso, it's a little oily is not the right word, but it's clearer. You know what I mean? There's not as much actual coffee in the coffee. Dig what I'm saying? Like, you have all the flavor there, but it's just the flavor. You feel me?
I got it. So what I got out of that explanation is smoke weed instead of coffee.
I suggest a combination. The Stoner Speedball is, to this day, my favorite. I mean, I think John Belushi went out the wrong way.
Sean is being halfly sarcastic about that.
I didn't say a sarcastic statement.
Maybe I shouldn't say this. Well, it's because if I say it, it's kind of like I do condone. Well, fuck it. If you already smoke weed, this is only for the people that already smoke weed. If you don't smoke weed, don't
try some crack.
No, don't pay attention to what I'm gonna say.
Stop giving me straight lines, motherfucker.
Put it on mute or whatever. But if you already smoke weed, if you haven't, and you got to do this in the morning when you have nothing else in your stomach. drink a nice, smooth, it made my mouth water. Black coffee, but light a blunt and smoke the blunt and drink your coffee at the same time, though. I guarantee you, when you get done, you don't even need to get done. You don't even need to finish the blunt. You might get down half of your cup of coffee, and I guarantee you that it'll be one of the best highs you'll ever have.
I'm a fan of your suggestion mainly because I am also a tobacco smoker, and which, by the way, I would like to throw it out there for any of our cannabis users in the audience.
By the way, this podcast is being recorded from somewhere in the middle of the woods in Denver.
Motherfucker, look, we don't have the cameras on, not because the table is full of cannabis, but the camera wasn't charged. But the table is not full. There are no illicit substances here at this time. I'm fucking crying, bro. But seriously, man, it was almost funny a little bit.
Hurry up, Abbott. Hurry up. Hurry up.
Abbott's already said he will never sign a legalization. He was open to decriminalization, but to be honest, the Texas.
When's he dying? Is that any time soon?
Motherfucker, he's been living on borrowed time since that tree landed on him.
Is that what happened?
That's a story I heard. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard the same story. I don't know the whole story. But
to be honest, and the only reason I got that story is because I was running around calling him a gimpy bastard, and somebody was like, "Don't you know a tree landed on him?" And I was like, "I fuck that gimpy bastard and the tree landed on him for not finishing the job." But I will say I'm kind of happy with some of. God damn it! This is the complication with politics. As I've said before, I am happy with some of the
we all are
laws that have been passed under his administration. The stuff that he signed off.
No, I'm not agreeing to that. I thought you were going to say something else. Never mind.
Well, okay. A lot of people were sketchy about the whole, again, this may just show where my mindset is. My understanding is a lot of the choices that he has made as far as, let's say, bureaucratic functions have not been beneficial at all. And some of this bullshit that's going on with the state right now, like they're cutting restaurants back to 50% and all that.
Yeah. They're
going to fuck us. They're going to fuck us. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. What I was going to say is the only laws I can point to directly and say I like that were what he did with the knife laws and the concealed carry permits for guns. He made the knife laws easier where the cities and counties were no longer able to kind of just willy-nilly make up their own fucking laws. Like the whole thing about like if you drove into San Antonio with a knife that was fucking, 5.5 as
so now I can drive around with a machete, no problem.
Yeah, dude, you can carry a sword in Texas.
Awesome.
Nobody has.
Y'all should have never
Dude,
told
this
me
is
that.
like the whole thing. This is like the gay marriage thing. It's like people gonna be marrying their horses. And it's like, yeah, nobody's marrying their horses and nobody's carrying a katana in Texas. Calm the fuck down. And open the bars up, you fucking cocksuckers. Anyway, what I was gonna say, laws. Oh, yes. Okay. Abbott says he's not going to do. Decriminalization is as far as he'll go, and the only time I think he was open to that
I'd be
was
okay.
that one bill from Abilene.
Before I agree with this, let me just make sure I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Decriminalization means that I could smoke.
No, it just means they won't arrest you.
That's why.
But they can find you.
That's where
they'll still find your ass.
Oh shit. Well, no, that gets expensive.
It's pretty much what like Austin is decriminalized as a city. Like if the city cops catch you,
then do they still find the person?
Yeah, they'll still find you. It's decriminalized. It's not.
Fuck. No, he's rich. I was gonna say
they still want to make money off your ass. They just don't want to have to go through the effort of arresting you because it kind of pisses people off.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
By the way, this whole little tangent was started on the fact I was going to say I smoked some vegan hemp blunts. They were...
Hold on. Vegan?
Yeah, I don't know where the vegan came into it, but yeah. But they're hemp blunts, basically. And
aren't regular blunts, they have animal products?
maybe the way they're doing it, maybe it's the glue or something like that. I don't know. There's, dude,
Okay. Well, I guess.
pig fat gets used in the strangest
Speaking about
fucking things.
vegan, first of all, if you're a vegan,
I'm just saying, if you want to smoke blunts without tobacco, there are available options.
I don't get it, but I respect you, and if you're happy and you don't die, then I'm happy for you.
To paraphrase Dave Chappelle, if you don't like cheese, no. If I like cheese, there's not something wrong with me. There's something wrong with you.
Pretty much. But 2 weeks ago, I tried vegan ice cream for the first time, and I will go on record and say this. It was good. It was actually damn good. I couldn't tell the difference. By the way, this is why I'm saying this. I also tried that fucking thing, the Impossible Burger. Yeah, total bullshit. Yeah, there's. I'm not saying that it's not real or whatever. I need real beef. What I'm saying is there is a difference.
Look, I'm saying. There are a lot of things in this world that I will never participate in, that I find foolish as fuck, that I will, on the other hand, acknowledge can be useful in the fact that, okay, stupid fake ass vegetarians or vegans, whatever, that like, look, it's
don't say that because there's a difference. You're going to piss them off.
No, I'm saying stupid fake ass, whatever the fuck you are.
Oh, okay.
But like, all right, the whole idea of like, I'm going to, dude, there are fake eggs. Fake eggs. Think about this for a second. Why the fuck would you eat fake eggs?
Yeah.
You want to eat eggs, but you don't want to eat eggs. Explain this to me. As a matter of fact, don't explain this to me. That is just foolishness. It's counterproductive.
But see, you're the one that got mad at
I
me
don't
because
eat fake shit.
No. But you're the one that got mad at me because I told you that I take the yolk out.
Oh, that's completely different. I didn't get mad at you.
Yeah, you did. You were.
All right, I was a little bit upset that you were wasting yolk.
Yeah, that's what you said.
That was my second question was, what are you doing with the yolk?
Yeah. And I told you I throw it away. But I gave you the reason why I throw it away.
70% of the nutritional content of the egg is in the fucking yolk.
But it's also cholesterol.
Motherfucker. Look, you know the food pyramid is fake too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying, man. When just saying cholesterol, like fat is not bad for you. Salt is not bad for you.
Yes, it is.
Salt's not bad for you. Salt is a necessary fucking mineral.
No, it's not.
Yes, it fucking is.
It's not necessary.
There's a reason the Roman Empire used to pay their soldiers in salt. Motherfucker.
Oh, we're going that way back, huh? I didn't know we were going that way back.
Motherfucker, I'm just saying, look, yeah, man, no, salt is completely...
Have high blood pressure and have salt. See what happens.
Dude, we've had this conversation. It's not the salt that's giving you the high blood pressure. It's something else in your diet that is causing... The salt will exacerbate the problem.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The salt, I don't know the scientific process down to the T, but this is what I understand from my physician. The salt, like you said, enhances the bad fat that is already in your blood, which, I mean, it doesn't happen today, but like today or tomorrow, but over an extended period of time, what that does, it hardens your artery walls, and then that's what happens to like the clogs and shit like that. But the salt is like one of the biggest things.
You're mixing things here. The salt's a problem because if you have inflammation, the salt will cause you to retain more liquids, and that will exacerbate the inflammation. What you're talking about with the arterial buildup is when you have free floating cholesterol that your body can't use.
Exactly.
Okay.
But did you know that because of salt,
because you can't use the cholesterol, that it's free floating in the blood. It's not because it's cholesterol.
But what
the
makes
cholesterol your body can use, it uses.
No, I understand. But what
or
do you
shit
think?
it out.
What do you think makes the cholesterol harder? Not literally, but harder as in hard to get out of your body. You know, it's salt. I mean, it's not just
No.
salt.
What causes the
but
buildup is
sugar.
what I'm saying is, okay, you have the free
What causes the buildup is fat, basically. I know because I asked I asked a doctor.
Okay, but it's two separate things. Like, okay, think about it this way. If you're eating fats and protein,
Okay.
your body will burn the protein and the fat. You go into, that's what the whole keto.
Yeah. No, I get
If you
that.
eat fat and sugar, your body will not burn the fat. So it will either get rid of it or it will retain it somehow. Now, the problem is when your body is not... Okay, there's a mechanism that I'm not too clear on as far as how the fat gets actually into the bloodstream, but salt is not part of that mechanism.
No, I'm not saying that salt is part of that mechanism. What I'm saying is that salt makes it harder.
No, it doesn't. The hardness comes from it being in there for so long and your body...
Harder, I don't mean literally hard. I mean harder as in difficult. That's the fucking word. Huh? The salt makes it harder for the fat that is in your blood to be taken out of your body. Now, let me premise this. I'm not saying that salt is the sole contributor to those problems. I'm saying that salt is a major contributor to, like, there's a bunch of other shit. Basically, long story short, if you can take anything from this segment of the conversation, it is try to stay away as much as you can from salt and sugar. I'm not saying don't use them. I'm not saying take them out of your diet completely, because it's kind of nearly impossible. But I'm not saying like take them out. I'm just saying if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to stay healthy, if you're trying literally not to have a heart attack when you're 50, try to stay away from salt and sugar as much as you can. That's honestly, that's what I was told by a medical professional that has a degree that he went to school somewhere. I know, because again, I revert back to the same thing, because I literally asked. I was like, dude, I need you to tell me the truth about like salt and sugar. Is basically what I asked.
All right, man. Did he literally tell you to avoid salt and sugar? He equated salt to sugar.
Wait, what do you mean equated salt to sugar?
Like you should avoid salt with the same veracity, with the same effort that you should avoid sugar.
He said keep them at a very minimal. That's exactly what he said. And he said, I cannot tell you to not eat sugar and not eat salt completely, because to a certain extent,
these are two different things though. I'm saying, like, you can go your entire life and never eat processed sugar and you will be fine. Whereas with salt in a lot of people's diets, especially if you're like, here's a bit of a fucked up thing.
This is why I don't believe that. But then again, it's hard, bro, because honestly, nobody on earth really knows, like,
dude, I'm having flashbacks. I think we've had this conversation before.
What healthy really is.
And I think that's actually the conclusion we got to is, depending on your diet, you're going to need different levels of stuff, but nobody needs sugar. Like there is nobody with a diet deficient in sugar.
Agreed upon.
Salt, on the other hand, is a necessary component of every diet.
That's
to varying levels.
That's what I was going to poke at. Why is it that the people... Fuck. I need Google. I think it's the people in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I think the people in the Middle East, not that they don't consume salt, but they are known to be the people that consume salt the least. Like, they're very, extremely minimal. So my question is, they're there and they're fine. And they fucking live to be old as fuck. So...
Okay, there is salt in Middle Eastern cuisine.
Again, you're not listening to what I'm saying.
You're saying they consume the least. Okay,
yeah.
I'm going to throw just an idea out there. They might be getting enough salt, let's say traditionally, like if you're looking at, like, say, some of the Berbers and shit like that, or the, shit.
But then again, they also drink a lot of wine, I think.
Again, this depends on where you're at. A lot of the coastal regions consume a lot of wine, but
no, I think people in the Middle East.
Man, like you say the Middle East like it's a solid object, man. There's all right, are you talking about like?
No, I'm talking about like
that
Saudi
Arabia.
Yeah, I'm talking about when I say the Middle East, I'm speaking about like as a region, as a whole. I understand that there's different parts. I mean, I'm not a geography major, but I understand that there's different parts of the Middle East or whatever. But what I'm saying is, like, Middle Eastern people as a whole, for the most part, is what I'm saying. Like, referring as to what I'm saying about the salt.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, from what I've read, they also, I think that's the part of the world where they do consume a lot of, like, wine and stuff. But then again, the wine that they consume is like literally homegrown. Like it's they make their own shit.
Okay, well, again, you're talking about a lot of that area having, like, I mean, that dude, this is where the Dead Sea is. Like, there is a lot of salt content just in the soil. So, and you've also got oceans on 5 sides just of the region. You know, you got the Black Sea, fucking the Baltic, the Red Sea, the Mediterranean, and when you get around that, you're eating a lot of seafood as well, man. So you're probably getting a shitload of salt just naturally in the diet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if it's that, I don't know where the hell I came across this, but somebody was talking about the fact that
By the way, a lot of the information that I'm telling you, I know because it just clicked in my head. I read from the New York Times. So I'm saying the New York Times because to this point, when it comes to journalism, the New York Times is still.
Hey, look, read who you want to. I'm going to go with Playboy every time. And that's a complete joke because Playboy's a fucking joke. Has been for years. I think it's full of perverts and pedophiles, but that's just me. But yeah, man, diet is always going to be variable. Just where you're at, what you're eating.
And by the way, I led into this conversation because I went to the doctor again and I'm all fucked up again. Well, that's because I stopped working out.
Look, Freddy, I said I wouldn't tell the people at home, but let's just be honest with them. The whole reason we haven't been recording this is because you ballooned up like 80 pounds, and it's just gross, man. It's just disgusting.
Yeah.
And,
well, I ballooned up 40 to be exact. But yeah, I'm nearing the 200s again.
Dude, I was fighting hard for a while there, but I'm pretty sure I got up around 210 at one point. I was like,
yeah. The heaviest I've ever been was 220. And the 220s when I had serious problems. Like my high blood pressure was out of whack. My triglycerides. I'm still taking all my vitamins though.
That's good.
I wanna. Fuck, that's what I needed to do. I was like, while I finish eating this shit, I want to take my. It's because I can't take vitamin C and vitamin D on an empty stomach. Does that happen to you? When I take vitamin C
will fuck with me sometimes.
and vitamin D, I get really nauseous. It's annoying, and I'm nauseous for about an hour. It's an hour of annoyance. But then again, I take 2,000 grams.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Well, because according to your dietary experts, they say that you should take max 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C within a 24-hour period. And just to keep in mind, I've done extensive research on vitamin C alone. You can take as much as you want. I mean, 2,000 milligrams is recommended for your body needs and also max. But I'm just saying, if you take more than 2,000, you'll be fine. You're not gonna die. You're not gonna. The worst thing that can happen to you is you'll get the shit for about an hour or two.
Yeah, as far as I know, I don't the L50 or I think it's the L50. Basically, the mean lethal dose for vitamin C is so fucking high that it's not even worth thinking about. You'll, like you said, you'll shit yourself before you hurt yourself.
But vitamin D, on the other hand, that's the one that you do want to be careful with, because you can't take too much of that, because not only does it starts fucking with your liver, but it'll overproduce. I didn't know that. I believe it overproduces, if you don't watch it, iron, and then something happens with the iron in your blood, and then that's when you have like serious complications. I'm not clear on what complications, but I've heard that it's serious complications. I'm not trying to find out what those are.
I get you, man.
I mean, personally.
Yeah, the only supplement I ever fucked around and took way too much of was I believe it was L-tryptophan, which is the serotonin precursor.
The serotonin, yeah.
Man, that's up there with.
Why did you do that? That's my first question. Was it an accident?
I was taking various doses of L-tryptophan, and I can't remember what the other one, glucosamine, something like that. Basically, this was when I was weaning myself off of Coke, and my whole like mood regulation was fucked. You know what I mean? It was not necessarily manic depressive, but it was pretty fucking close. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was trying to kind of help regulate the whole serotonin thing. Like I was just having like those muted days, you know what I mean? Where it's, I can see it, I can taste it, but it's not having any effect. You know what I mean? Yeah. The life is just there and I'm over here. Yeah. That was getting to the point where it was starting to worry me a little bit. So I started taking anyway, I was trying to get my serotonin back up and regulating. Yeah. Tried doing it with ecstasy. That didn't work. Again, kids, I recommend ecstasy under very limited and high quality doses, but can work. Just didn't work in that case because I was taking shitty ecstasy and I was also fucked because I was a dope fiend. Where was I going with this? Yeah, so I took too much of this shit, dude. It got real scary for a moment. Like it was lightheadedness, but like for maybe half an hour, everything was super bright and shiny. Yeah. It was like tingling and shit. Like it was very scary for a little bit there. But I think that's the only time I've ever gone too strong with the.
Have you ever experienced an overdose of any kind? Like, have you ever legitimately overdosed on anything?
Alcohol poisoning a couple times, and
let's share
alcohol poisoning.
That experience. No, I'm saying let's share that experience, and I'm saying share with me because I experienced alcohol poisoning twice in my life. So I want to see where our experiences are alike and where they're different. And I'll say on both experiences, as far as feeling, it wasn't that bad, like feeling, but because I was drunk.
Right.
But when I came to my senses and and it wasn't even, because I remember vaguely what the doctor was saying because I was drunk.
Oh, you made it all the way to the hospital?
The first time.
Okay.
The second time, I almost didn't make it anywhere, but I didn't make it to the hospital because I remembered the experience the first time. So anyway, the first time, yeah, I remember vaguely, but what I don't remember, because I know they pump your stomach, but they give you shit to like counteract supposedly. What I don't remember is what they gave me I can't remember for the life. And I've thought of this before. Like I've always wanted to remember what they gave me to counteract the first time.
Probably charcoal.
I'm not sure.
Did they?
But what happened with yours? You don't need to give me the details of what you were doing. Apparently, I mean, I know what you were doing, but
yeah, it was never so bad that like it was more I wished I would die rather than I thought I was going to die. It was violent. What do you call it?
Vomiting.
Yeah, vomiting. There was it.
Did you cough up blood?
No, thankfully.
Yeah, that's when I was like, oh, this shit's real.
No, it was to the point where it was like a bad flu, like where it mucus, you know what I mean? There's nothing like the dry heaves type of shit.
Were you sweating?
Oh yeah. Muscle twitches, fucking I couldn't stand up for I don't know. I don't even know how long it lasted, man. It was just one of those I was drinking perfectly fine at one point and then something happened. And as I've noted many times before, this is probably around the time that I started having blackouts. So, and technically speaking, that's like the precursor dose, like that, the level of alcohol you need to have in your blood for your what is it, the hippocampus? I can't remember. Whatever when that shuts off, like you're already pretty goddamn close to the line.
Yeah.
So
with me, I remember that. Like I remember the coughing. I started coughing first uncontrollably, which at the time I thought it was blunt because I was smoking and drinking. Mm-hmm. Which I realized that it was a waste of weed. Should have never done that. But you live and you learn. So, dude, because we burned through like a quarter, like in one fucking sitting. But we were drinking, like I said.
Yeah.
So, the violent cough, and then after the violent cough, I started puking. So then they moved me. They were like, dude, you just fucked everything up. You fucked up the kegger. You move them that way. So luckily, I've always had friends that weren't complete pieces of shit. So two of my friends stayed with me like the whole time. They're like, "Do we want?" And then I passed out. So then, like that's when shit. And I remember passing out, but I remember when it was like about to happen. And then I told them I was like, I'm gonna pass out. So I passed out in the corner of like the house. This was all outside, you know. And so then. What woke me up again is that I puked again, and like I puked all over myself and whatever, and which at that point I didn't care because my stomach hurt for some reason. My asshole hurt, like my literally like my asshole hurt because every time that I would go to puke after a while, I was making like I was forcing. Like my ass, like you know what I'm saying. Like if you've never experienced alcohol poisoning, you don't understand. I know a lot of y'all are asking yourselves, why would you be making strength with your asshole or whatever? But like with the force that after a while, because the wanting to puke, never goes away. Your stomach is like empty, and you're still trying to puke or whatever. So when I actually was going through all of that, when I realized that shit got real, and my friend was like, "Hey, you know what, bro? We need to go. We need to go to the emergency room." Was when I stopped puking like food or whatever, and I started like coughing up blood, but they were like chunks of blood, right? Yeah. So I was like, I got Sean fucking stressing over it.
Yeah, no, that's one of the, that's a fear, man.
So then that's when, and by the way, I was like halfway gone, and I got to the point where I didn't, like, it's the best way that I could describe it. I didn't care at the time. what I wanted at the time was just to be left alone. Because they were around me. And I was like, dude, just leave me alone. And I'm so grateful for my friend that he was working through my stubbornness. And he was like, no, let's... And then nobody wanted to go to the hospital because we were minors. Yeah. Everybody was a minor, right? So he's like... And then my friend was the one that was like, no, I'm if something happens to him, it's worse. So my friend was actually the one that like... He was like, he was basically like, I'm not going to let that rest on my conscience if something happens. So he actually threw me in the back of a Suburban and he drove me to the emergency room.
Right.
And then this is the part that I don't remember. I remember the doctor or a nurse coming up to me and is like, what happened? Whatever. And I was like, I'm drinking, I'm drunk. And the nurse was the one that right away she identified. She just looked at, I remember, she just looked at my eyes and she was like, it's alcohol poisoning. So that nurse reacted quick. Right. And then they put a IV on me or some shit. That's what I'm telling you that I don't remember.
Right.
They put something in the IV and then I felt warm. But like comfort warm. Like I felt cozy, warm, like somebody was hugging me, Right. And I was like, and then when that shit started flowing through my veins, whatever it was, like I started to feel peace. So I was like, oh, okay. So then I started to calm, like, because my blood pressure was, and at this time I had no problems with high blood pressure. I was young. Right. I had no problems with high blood pressure or anything. I was skinny. Believe it or not, I was skinny.
Yeah, you probably dehydrated like a motherfucker.
Yeah. That was another thing they identified, that I was severely dehydrated. So they stuck me with another IV of vitamins. So they took me through that, and then after feeling that warm or the way I was feeling, then I just passed out. But I passed out as in like I remember going to sleep, and then I woke up and my friend was there, and then he was the one that told me. He was like, "Bro, you got alcohol poisoning." I was like, "Oh shit!" And then in the hospital, my first question to my friend was, "Did y'all finish the beer?" That I remember asking. Like, I was like, "Did y'all finish?" And he looked at me and he was like, "What does that matter, bro?" And I was like, "Well, because I just wanted to know if because we had 2 kegs, and I was like, I was just curious if there's any beer left." I'm telling you, I know I'm a unicorn. I know I'm different. I know normally somebody that would go through that experience, the last thing on your mind the next day would be beer. But I mean, I don't remember if I wanted to drink after that, which I mean, like literally after that. But I do remember like asking, and I think I might have, maybe I was trying to drink or whatever. But I went to that. The second time, it wasn't that bad, because we didn't even make it to the hospital. I just threw up a lot, and it reminded me. And I told myself, I was like, "Fuck, this is I was like, this is alcohol. This is all alcohol poisoning." But I learned from the first time. You want to take somehow vitamin B12, which vitamin B12 is in Pedialyte. Right. Vitamin B12, vitamin C, and vitamin A, and that helps you. It helps you get the nauseousness. So if you get rid of the nauseousness, once you throw up all the food or whatever was in your stomach, it'll help you to stop throwing up. What you don't want to get to is the blood, because it's when you start fucking your intestines. Yeah. So I was like, dude, chill out, take me to Walmart, get me some Pedialyte. And I was fucked up. Like, I was fucked up. Right. But I was still giving instructions. I was like, Pedialyte. I just kept repeating Pedialyte. So they got me that, and I was able but I know that it was I was either already well in, or it was the beginning stages of alcohol poisoning.
Honestly, again, if you get to that point, little suggestion for your home experiments, kids. The Pedialyte's not a bad idea. Don't go with Gatorade. The sugar
because of the sugar and it has a shitload of sodium. So
the sodium is not the problem. The sodium is what you want. This goes back to the whole conversation, Freddie. You need salt for biological function.
Well, but I'm saying because of the
Pedialyte's just salt water, man.
Yeah, but the electrolytes. That's what the fuck.
That's what salt is, man.
Yeah, no, but that's what I was looking for earlier. Right. Well, the electrolytes is what you're trying to get in.
Right. Shit. Fucking lost. Oh yeah. So you want the salt. I'm sorry, the Pedialyte or something like that is good. Another good one is club soda. Also pretty good for that situation. But what really helps, and this is a
cocaine also helps.
I'm gonna go back to the Doug Stanhope line. 3:00 in the morning. If you got to drive home or somebody wants to fuck you, that's when cocaine comes. But what I was gonna say was activated charcoal tablets. You ever fucked around with those?
Nah, that doesn't even sound something like something I want to fuck with. What does that do?
Basically what they do, it's made from coconut husks, the furry bit on the outside. Okay. They burn it down to charcoal, and then they compact it into these tablets, and it soaks up almost everything, everything but the salt that's in your stomach. Mm-hmm. So if you're to that point where you've had too much to drink and you're still like it's been within the last hour that you've had the drink, if you take the charcoal, it will soak up a lot of the shit that's in there, including some of the alcohol. And also part of the problem with the alcohol poisoning is your body starts producing metabolic, what's that called? The side effects, the leavings, substances, basically. Your body is producing chemicals that it's not able to dispose of properly. So they're in your system and they're literally poisoning you. Like, it's not the alcohol. I mean, don't be wrong. Alcohol can kill you. Enough alcohol can kill you, but it's usually when people talk about alcohol poisoning, it's when your body is being overwhelmed and it can't get rid of the metabolites from processing the alcohol, which is another great reason that, if you're going to drink heavily, I would recommend a little bit, doesn't have to be a lot, but a little bit of strong cannabis, either at the end of the night or the first thing when you get up in the morning, because it helps your brain to work through or metabolize some of those leavings. Damn it, I don't have the right words for this. Need to have my thesaurus on hand. Not the source, journal something. Sorry, man. I had a little bit to smoke this morning. We're getting into complicated subjects, but the activated charcoal and the Pedialyte, like if you drink the Pedialyte, make sure it's getting into the system. That warm feeling you're talking about, that, believe me, I've had that feeling on the mornings where your body goes, I know that you are fucked up right now, but you need to go drink water or you will die. Yeah. And you just gotta Well,
I mean, I think I had that warm feeling because I should have said this before I said that. I think, now I know back then what that warm feeling was. Again, and this is, if you haven't tried it, I encourage you. I do encourage you. When you're talking about
you've exhausted yourself so far that your asshole feels strained, that what you're describing sounds like a wrung out sponge.
Yeah.
Again, having similar situations.
So what I'm saying is, if you've never experienced a vitamin drip, try it. I encourage people. It's pricey, but try it and you will. I promise you'll benefit.
We had
from
this
it.
conversation before. What'd you say? It was like $75 a bag.
No, bro. I wish if you ever find $75 a bag, let me know.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, no, you can get it cheap, a good deal. You can get a 120.
Okay.
120 bag.
Because I know you were talking about the one joint where you could go in and get like the full
yeah
drip and all that shit.
So back to that when I was in the hospital, that now that I've done like the vitamin drip or whatever, that warm feeling, that's what that was. So I know now, for a fact that they were pumping straight vitamins into my
just a thought,
stream.
But you've taken B12 just as an oral supplement before.
Yes,
tablets.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Is it something similar to that? Like when you've had like not too much, but like a good dose of B12, and like you can feel like.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Because like what I've gotten in a vitamin drip, I've gotten vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin B12, zinc, and I'm missing one. K. No, not K. Yes, K. Yes. K. Vitamin K. So, those are the vitamins I've gotten. So when I got those, when I'm about to sound like a fucking heroin addict, but when the
they just walk in the room already slapping a vein.
Like when you start to feel the warmth and the vitamins like travel through your vein. I'm not gonna lie. Like if you're a little bitch, it's gonna scare you. And if you've never done it before, and if you don't have a drug history, like if you're a little squeaky clean and shit, it'll scare you. Cause your first time, it does burn. So you're like, what the fuck? Like how can I explain it? The very first time, it's going to feel a little uncomfortable because you're going to feel something that you've never felt before. You're going to feel warm, and then it's going to feel a little hot, and then you're going to feel your body temperature raise. So if you've never done like cocaine and shit like that. But me coming from an actual drug history, I mean, when you've done a shitload of cocaine and smoked a lot of weed and all within like 4 or 5 hours, I don't felt shit. I felt my heart wanting to jump out of my body. So I haven't been able to top that. So when I had the vitamin drip, it's just like I felt feelings like that. So I knew what it was. So what I'm saying is once you get used to it, it feels good. Like you feel that more, and even more so now for like health purposes. When you know that now you're doing something good for your body,
right?
It makes you feel even better.
By the way, going back to the question earlier about the espresso in your coffee, I think a lot of that is mental. By the way, I'm not disparaging either espresso or vitamin drips.
I feel it though. Like, well, I'm talking about the that's what I'm trying to tell you. Back to the espresso thing. I feel the difference between what I'm trying to say is I feel the difference between drinking a regular cup of black coffee and then drinking a regular cup of black coffee with a shot of espresso. I feel that's why I pointed out that the feeling, like the kick, is very short lived. I only feel it for about an hour. But I mean I feel it as opposed to just having black coffee by itself. That's why I felt, and I haven't done enough research on it to argue with you, but that's why I felt that either it was a kick in caffeine, or that it did very highly enhance the
right.
caffeine.
Well, all I'm saying is along with any benefit to strength that it may have had, it may also just be the psychosomatic thing of this tastes more like coffee than a black coffee would because you're having the espresso added in with it. I'm saying the similar thing with like, I mean,
do you like your coffee as far as the taste? because we both it made my mouth water because I had some fake ass coffee today. When you drink your black coffee, and again for people that don't understand this, but when we drink black coffee, we do it because of well, at least I'll speak for myself. I do it taste. I like the taste of my black coffee or whatever. But I was gonna ask you because you drink black coffee. When you drink your black coffee, how do you like your taste? Do you like it smooth, or do you actually like to taste the bitterness of the coffee? There's a reason why I'm asking you this.
I used to be very much a dark roast.
Or you were chasing the bitterness.
Yeah, I wanted that kind of the burnt.
Yeah, I got you.
I want to say crunchy, but that's not the right word. But
yeah.
the bread almost that toasted flavor.
Yeah.
Whereas now, to be honest, and this may actually be a psychosomatic thing, man. I prefer a much sweeter coffee. Now, what I drink is ground bullshit because I'm just trying to get caffeine and I'm broke as fuck. But if I had, if I'm buying a cup of coffee, like if somebody's like, "What coffee do you want?" I'm going to go for a much greener, fresher, lighter, sweeter flavor. Yeah.
Okay. The reason why I asked, have you ever tried, again, we kind of hit the same point. It's pricey, but have you ever tried Black Rifle?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Medium roast though. I've never like sampled the whole range.
So you make it even easier. What do you think?
It's not bad. It's decent tasting coffee.
Would you rather have that than the regular, like whatever roast you buy at the store? If price wasn't an issue,
I would put that probably in my top 10. Maybe even top 5.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah,
because that's what I was gonna tell you.
For a long period of time, HEB was getting some really good Costa Rican coffee. That was a light roast, and
I've been looking, man. At HEB, I've been trying to find a roast that I really like here locally. And I just can't. I've found decent ones, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I haven't found one. I tried the Black Rifle, and I like it a lot.
If you're looking,
I'm looking when it comes to my black.
Is Jitters still open? Out in Mission?
Jitters is open.
I know there were a couple coffee houses that were.
Here in McAllen.
Really?
I because of the thing that I do.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I believe I want to say I was driving down 10th Street and I saw.
Have you ever had their light roast?
No.
Like they're just their house coffee.
Should we go get it?
I'd be up for it. The only place I've ever the original location out in Mission used to have an open mic, which was one of those clean, Christian friendly coffee house open mics I'm telling you about. But yeah, that was always fun. Some little old lady sitting in the front just judging the shit out of you, ready to throw Satan at any word.
Jitters, right?
Jitters, yes.
Jitters. I believe there's one here in McAllen. I was gonna ask you after this shit.
Wait, hold on. Is it Jitters that's?
Yeah, I think it's called Jitters.
Now hold on. Now is Jitters the place out of Mission, or is that the one from Edinburgh? Because I may be getting them confused.
Mission.
Okay, that's the one out on what, Ed Carey, I believe.
One says open. No, one says open. One says closed. It's on.
Yeah, that's the place. Yeah.
Damn, bro, it looks nice. Is that really what it looks like?
I haven't been in there for maybe 4 years, man. But if
I was going to ask you down to get some coffee after this? You got some shit you got to do?
yeah, man, we can.
Because I was going to work, but I'm not going to lie to you. I feel tired. So I really don't. And then
that really was a bullshit coffee you were drinking.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not lying, bro. Look, this shit here says triple shot, and there is nothing triple about this shit. I feel I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not exaggerating. I do not feel anything. You know how because we're both caffeine addicts. You know how when you initially the best thing I can relate it to is either a Rockstar or straight black coffee. You know how initially you take, well, I don't know about you, but at some point during my coffee towards the beginning, I take one big gulp because I need to feel it. Right?
You're priming the pump.
Yeah. So I take that big gulp and then I start to sip it. A little bit before I get down to before the middle, you know that little kick? I feel that there's this little guy that grabs my brain and kicks the back of my brain. You know how you feel that kick in your where you're like, oh, okay. You that feeling?
Yeah.
Okay. With shitty coffee, like from Stripes, shout out to Stripes for having the best shitty coffee. With shitty coffee from Stripes,
right?
I even get that initial kick. It goes away in 20 minutes, but I feel it. Yeah,
dude.
Nothing.
I don't know if they still have
and Rockstar does that.
You get that
to me, but Rockstar is like a more supercharged kick. But right, it's still
well, you got all the extra
short.
You got all the extra shit in there with the
Hey, quick question, and shout out to Rockstar. I'm not shitting on them, but you know how on the can it says enhanced or some shit like that with vitamin B12 and CO2 something?
Yeah.
My question, do you honestly think there's vitamin B12 in there?
Of course there is. B12 is cheap as fuck.
I don't think so.
Why wouldn't there be?
Because I think it's a marketing thing. Should I even be saying this?
Dude, first of all, it's a food product technically, which is why it has to have.
No, I'm not saying it's illegal. I'm not saying.
No, I'm saying they have to at some point during this process. They are testing for.
Oh, but you still believe in that shit?
I'm saying there's no reason not to have the B12. Like if you're going to make an energy drink at all, stop adding sugar. Just add B12. Like caffeine, B12. That's all you really need. The rest of it. One of the reasons I think I've said this.
So should we go get caffeine extract instead and just take a tablet? Is that what you said?
You can look. I am all for.
It doesn't help
look,
like coffee does though.
I don't know if we've ever had this conversation, but I am all for minimalist.
I know that
intake.
Yeah.
Like it. For example, with alcohol, one of the reasons that I drink vodka is because that's about as close, unless you start watering down your own moonshine, which, by the way, there's a moonshine distillery that just opened.
Thank you.
I know you can't drink it, but.
No, it's not that I can't drink it. Even when I used to drink.
Right.
I tried moonshine twice. Once in Tennessee from this old guy that made his own moonshine. And I tried it just because for conversation.
Yeah.
So that I could say I've had moonshine.
Right.
This is the thing.
Same reason you do heroin. I understand.
Yeah. And people, I don't do that. The only reason I don't do that is because I'm horrified of needles. If there is another way, which I know that there's other ways, but I've heard it doesn't, same effect. It's not the same effect. If I'm going to go for something like that, I want the real thing. Anyway, because you can snort heroin, in case you didn't know. Anyway, but
I was always a fan of the opiate based ecstasy.
There you go. No, I preferred the pill. You get. Cause see the dude.
No, it was a pill. It was just you had the stuff that was like mixed with crank, and then you had the stuff that was mixed with heroin because it wasn't pure MDMA.
Yeah,
'Cause MDMA is expensive.
Yeah. Well, shout out to the person I used to get my supply from back in the day. I'm not gonna say who because he's still living and he's still doing his thing. But he used to get pure MDMA. He was one of the first cats here in the valley that figured out, well, not one of the first, but figured it out for drug purposes. The black market for the online thing to get drugs.
Silk Road type shit.
Yeah. So he figured out a dealer, again, somewhere on the other side of the world,
right,
that would ship the MDMA. And his prices for here in the valley were expensive.
Right.
But the real people, there was very few of us, the real people that knew that, he had the real shit, we would buy from him because it was little known, little bit of drug trivia. The original, I would say one of the major epicenters for the modern MDMA culture, like the rave the raves, the techno. By the way, I was never a real big fan of that, but just recreational was kind of fun.
Neither was I, but those people always had good connects.
I remember the first time I got lockjaw because I didn't know, because nobody told me, bro. Like, nobody gave me the instructions of this is how you do it. This is what may happen. Well, I did the research for myself, right, but somehow I skipped over the part you should chew gum, especially if it's your first time. Not for the gum purposes, but so that it'll stop the teeth grinding. Yeah, that. And also, nobody told me a very fucking important fact, that you should drink water.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, you need to have plenty of water. But for again, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but fuck it. When you take X, if you really, really, really want to enhance your trip, drink water. Please drink water. Yeah. But take X with orange juice.
See, now here's the thing. There is a function that vitamin C, that requires vitamin C, as far as and again, I'm using words that I'm probably not qualified to use, but to metabolize the amphetamine in the ecstasy, you need the vitamin C. But I have a sneaking suspicion that where that really came from was the whole issue with grapefruit juice, where it bypasses the blood barrier.
Yeah.
So basically,
but you know why though, right?
There's a protein in
grapefruit that thins
basically
your
doesn't thin it. It just shuts off the process by which you usually filter substances out. Because what is it? Only I want to say 20 to 40% of what you take orally as far as supplementation.
We should change the name of this podcast to Drugs 101.
We should change the name of this podcast. I don't fucking know.
Do you?
Hey, folks.
That's a good one. We don't know. Do you?
What the fuck do I know? Oh, dude, we'll make a play off that. It was What the Fuck Do We Know? Or that goofy ass movie about the
what
quantum
the fuck do we know?
But what I was gonna say,
I don't know why it just brought
you know what you should take
to my head.
You know what you should take with this podcast, kids? A grain of salt.
No, it's bad for your high blood pressure. Yeah, dude. So anyway.
Oh, but what I'm saying is, I'd always heard the thing with the orange juice as well. Yeah. That's also a big thing in with mushrooms and LSD. Apparently,
I've been tempted. That was another opinion that I wanted to get from you, because I talked to a mutual acquaintance that we both know, and they've been through this whole pandemic. they've been throwing.
She's been off her tits on mushrooms.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Probably.
Okay. So they've been on mushrooms through this whole pandemic. I mean, I don't know if the whole thing, but they, and they've said that that's one of the ways that they've been able to like get through it or whatever. But
I haven't really thought about it, but honestly, mushrooms would be a lot of people that are going through the stress right now.
I disagree. But this is what I wanted to get into. I've never tried. Well, no. Let me retract that. I've only tried shrooms once, and I had a bad experience. Hmm? So I was I'm not gonna say I was thinking of doing it again, but I kind of was. But what do you think?
Dude, a gram of shrooms will never hurt you. I mean, as long as they're clean.
Well, I took more than a gram.
Look, anytime anyone's like, "Man, I had a bad trip," I was like, I'm gonna guess you probably.
And I had it with pizza.
Yeah, you shouldn't eat with shrooms.
They're
know
gross though.
You got bad shrooms. There are a lot of people that tell me this shit. Like, look, I've picked shrooms literally out of cow shit in a field. I understand that they need to be washed. There is a health issue, a hygiene issue involved when you're getting it straight from the source.
Because they told me to eat them to try to eat them. I mean, back then, again, this was years ago.
These were dry, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This was years ago. Years ago. I tried shrooms. They tried peyote. And then he wanted me to try peyote while I was on shrooms. And then I saw what he was doing, and I was like, no. Bro.
Was he actively vomiting into the trash can?
No. So this is some shit I'll never forget.
You watched a grown man insert his own hand into his ass?
So he was on... I was on shrooms. I was barely tripping out. At the beginning, I was fine. This is what fucked up my trip, or what began the fuck up. So I was on shrooms. I had only been into it like 15 minutes or whatever. Because I don't know if it works different for people, but you may take longer to get there than, you know what I'm saying? And he was on peyote, right? If you don't know what that is, it's a cactus, grows, you mash it, you put it in a blender, you drink it, you throw up, and voila. I'm chopping the process up, but basically that's what it is. So he was on peyote, right? So we were sitting on his couch. Mm-hmm. It was just me and him or whatever. So then let's just imagine that his couch is right here, and we're sitting down. So we're there, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then he starts tripping out, right? But he's still cool. He starts looking around the room, and you can tell that he's on his trip, but he's okay. So then he's like, "Hey man, you know what? I think we should get something to eat because I'm hungry." And I was like, "All right, cool, whatever." By the way, when you're on shrooms, there's no such thing as a bad idea until it's a bad idea, right? So we get up. I was like, "All right, whatever." So I got up. His couch is here. He gets up. I get up. We're facing the door. Right? I wish we were on fucking camera. I just try to picture this. We're facing the door. So now the couch is behind us. Mm-hmm. Right? So he's like, "All right, man, well, let's go." And then he puts his arm around me. No, I'm lying. I put my arm around him. And I was like, "Let's go," or whatever. So then this dude, he's like, "Oh, wait, let me get my jacket. Or let me get something." So he turns around to get it off the couch where we were sitting. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he turned around and he saw the couch, he completely flipped the fuck out. His eyes like literally came out his sockets and shit. And he grabs me and he was like, "Oh my God, bro." And I was like, "Bro, what's wrong?" And I kept looking at the couch. And there was nothing there, right? So, I mean, other than his jacket or whatever. I was like, "Well, what's wrong?" And then I'll never forget, man. A shaking grown man, he grabbed me And he literally said, bro, I'm right there, bro. I'm right there. I'm right here and I'm right there. He's like, so he literally was looking at himself sitting on the couch while he was standing up. He was like, I'm right. And then from there, like I said, this is where it went south for me. Because then he started to cry off of the panic. Because then he kept telling me, he was like, I'm dead. He's like, how am I going to get back into my body, bro? And he was like, I have shit to do tomorrow. He was like, I have shit to do tomorrow, bro. Like, he's like, I need to get back. And then, so he literally went to the couch and sat down. And he was even like if you're trying to fit in somewhere, like he was like, he's like, okay, hey, bro, am I in? Like, am I? And I was like, dude. And then he gets up, and then that's when he started crying. He's like, I can't get back in. How am I gonna get? I need to get back into my body, bro. Why am I still there? And I was like, and then that's when like his panic carried to my panic, and then I started. It was the first time ever that I was on anything where I can literally tell you that. And I'm a very strong-minded person. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in none of that shit. But the one time that I was on shrooms, it was the only time that I could tell you where I literally did hallucinate. And like the hallucinants were like real. Like I started seeing like bats flying around the apartment. And like the apartment didn't change. It never changed. It was the same walls, same ceiling, same pictures.
Right.
Like the bats were just chilling on the pictures. And like, you know what I'm saying? And then I saw dolphins, right?
Okay.
And then the TV was on, right? So we were watching the Flintstones. And then this is how I remember it, bro. Like Fred was talking to Bert. What was his name? His friend.
Barney.
Yeah. Fred was talking to Barney. Bert is Sesame Street. My bad. But he was talking to Barney, and they were having a conversation about some shit that's not important.
And then you realized it was in Japanese.
No. They were speaking English. But then I switched off the TV and it turned off.
Right.
And fucking Fred and Barney were still talking in front of me, bro. And I kept like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I did do it. That little childish thing.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, how come they're not going away, bro? Like, and I knew the TV was off, and then the bats were still flying. Right. But when I tell you bats, you've seen a bat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not talking about like the little bats. Like, no, these were like gargantuan fucking bats flying around the apartment. That's what I'm saying. They would go and sit on the pictures, on the corners of the pictures, and they were just like chilling there, and they kept like looking at me and shit. That was the only time when I can tell you that I did hallucinate, and the hallucinants were like very real. So then what happened is that when I woke up the next day and I still saw bats flying.
How much did you take?
I hate to hear that. First of all, I don't remember, but
rough estimate.
It was a bag. It was like you seen a 20 bag.
More or less than 7 grams.
Oh, less. Not that much less.
Because like, look, man, the only.
Well, what I'm saying this is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. Like if that is the experience on shrooms, or that experience is anything close to what you have every time, or what it's like, I don't find the fun in that. I thought being on shrooms was supposed to be fun.
Well, not when you have a grown man crying next to you. Nothing's fun with, well, okay, maybe a few things, but most things aren't fun with a grown man crying next to you.
Well, he also saw himself, so I would have tripped out the same fucking way, bro. Again, like if you were to see yourself on the couch.
Again, a tip for the kids at home: if you're going to do a drug, especially an old drug like fucking peyote, mescaline, you need to look into the religious practices around that drug. Mescaline.
So you're telling me that
peyote shows you the spirit world, motherfucker. Of course he thought he was dead. Like I'm saying, that's like, all right, it's like with salvia.
I've never tried that either.
Okay, well, the traditional use around salvia,
I've only used it on wounds.
Okay, what I'm saying is the indigenous group down in Mexico that uses salvia, they've only been using it for like 400 years. Because what it is, it's a couple of.
So as long as it's slave trade.
They were running away from the Catholic Church is what they were running away from.
Oh, the Crusades.
Well, the conquistadors, at least. Actually, you know what, man? Nobody's ever put it that way, or at least not that I've heard about it, but there was genuinely what you would call a crusade in Mesoamerica.
That did happen.
Okay, but it didn't
happen. No.
I know that it happened, but I'm saying we refer to, there are some things that we refer to as crusades, like when they would talk about,
it's like
people, church trying to go into.
It's like this is what. Not that it bothers me, but people really need to know the real shit. Like for example, the slave trade that really did happen 400 years ago or whatever. People don't know.
Are there people out there that doubt that it did?
I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that.
They volunteered, I tell you. They volunteered.
There's people that believe the earth is flat, right?
I woke up one day and there were all these folks in my house.
So what I'm saying is, a part of history that either people forgot or they don't know, like flat out don't know, is that during the slave trade, and I'm not diminishing the damage that was made to black people. I'm not saying that because of that. They suffered and I feel that and I'm with you and all that shit. But what I'm saying is, when that happened is there was people don't know that there was also brown people as well. Like brown people were also like, I don't want to just say Mexicans, because I'm not gonna make it all about Mexicans.
Well, dude, this is why I specifically said
Latin people. Like,
right, but the reason I would refer to Mesoamerica or Central America as opposed to South America, because by the time the Spaniards and the Portuguese were getting down into South America in serious numbers, they had already figured out that they were killing the local population through disease, so they couldn't use them as a workforce. Like that's the first 100 years of the Spanish rolling through the Caribbean and into Mexico and down into Central America.
And that's how Hispanics were born, people. Not because of fucking... This is why I have trouble with applications, and I have trouble with my family members thinking that they're Hispanic. That's my argument.
Okay.
Because Hispanics are Hispanics because of the Spaniards, and then they came, they took over, they colonized, they raped people, because that's what they did. Let's not be blind to that. That's what happened, and then that's where the Hispanic culture, came about. Or whatever.
The flip side, well, not necessarily the flip side, but the other thing that was happening along with that, which is partially tied in with the whole salvia story, is that you had these smaller population groups, like tribes or whatever, and some of it was like, okay, when they broke up the Aztec state, you had the tributary states that were still loyal to the Aztecs and were running away from the fucking Spanish because the Spanish were gonna fuck them up. And then later on, you had people running away from the Catholic Church because the Catholic Church was going to fuck them up. Either that or really give them some good Jesusing. But the point was they were trying to run away from it. And if you know anything about central Mexico, the mountains down there are still places that you don't have decent road access. It's a very harsh terrain. Or not harsh necessarily. It's very fertile. That's why agriculture has always done really well there. But there are places where you have to try to get to. So you had these people that were basically on their own, isolated from the Spaniards that were running around along with everybody else for, 150 years, at a time. Well, one of these groups was up in the hills down in central Mexico. They found salvia and started using it because, you move into a new place, you start trying the local plants. They started fucking around with salvia, and this goes to the religious practice. That actually helped them integrate into Catholicism, because one of the tendencies of salvia is you see a mother goddess type of thing. Like that's just one of the general impressions that you get with salvia.
No, I saw bats and they didn't look like goddesses.
That's mushrooms, motherfucker. It's a different thing. Mushrooms are aliens. Actually, to be honest, mushrooms they can be anything you want them to be.
So like what's, I guess what I'm asking is, because I might try it again, maybe. But it's just, I'm that type of person. Like if I try something and I had a bad experience with it once, it's really hard for me to say, okay, I'll give it another shot. So I'm that's the way I've always been wired.
I would do less than a gram, half a gram.
So, but what I'm saying is, it's the same thing with edibles. That's why I don't see. But with edibles, I had fun. The only pushback that I had with that was that I was high for too long.
Okay, that threshold that you have with edibles where it goes from, like you start off with just getting that real kind of euphoric, very like your body feels light, everything, all the tension goes away. You're just kind of, you feel good. And then you start getting fucking high.
Yeah.
Okay, that threshold.
That's the part that I wasn't all the way. Well, and I was still cool with that. What I wasn't cool with was, it was just too long. I was high for hours. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I,
I
wasn't cool with because, and it wasn't like I couldn't be productive.
Right.
Like, because I still went about my day. I still did shit that I had to do. I was high as shit, but I was still doing what I had to do. But I guess the only thing that bothered me was like knowing that I was high and that I wasn't coming down. And then I went to sleep and I woke up and I was still high. So I was like, nah, this is not, you know what I'm saying? But it's funny how like when I used to smoke weed every day, there was days, especially like on my days off, where I would be high all day. And I would be fine with it. Well, I mean, I would smoke a lot of weed, right? But
different thing, man.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I understand it's a different thing, but it's a different high. So I wasn't cool with same thing of the high with hash. Have you ever smoked? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like when you smoke hash, that's a different high. And I wasn't cool because with hash, first of all, I was too high too fast, right? I got really high.
This is funny because this actually, the whole thing that kind of kicked off this drug conversation, we were talking about the coffee and you were like, just a little bit of weed with your coffee in the morning. I was going to say a small hit of hash or oil, a small hit, motherfucker, because it hits instantly. You're not smoking for long periods of time.
But see, look, when this is the thing.
I do get what you mean, though.
This is the thing. When you smoke a blunt with your coffee and you get high and then you get that caffeine kick, you'll understand. Like I'm trying to word it so that people that listen understand. like you get high, right?
Mhm.
But you're cruising. You're cruising through your high, and it feels good to be that high. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
When I smoked hash, I was too high too quick.
Right.
That was one thing. Second thing was that I not only what I was, uh, not only was I too high too quick, but I was too high for too long.
Yeah.
I guess you can say I wasn't comfortable with my altitude. I was like, I need to be somewhere down here, and I'm.
Well, like you were saying about being able to like smoke like all day and not feel too high for too long. Like that's one of the reasons I'm a big fan of sativas over indicas because
I thought you said you were a bigger fan of indicas.
No,
because we've had this conversation. Because I told you that I used to smoke to treat. I don't want to make it sound like that, but I used to smoke because like of anxiety and shit like that. And you questioned me of like why I would smoke sativas if I was trying to.
That was part of like no. The reason, part of the reason I was asking is I do prefer sativas, and I've run into a lot of people who can't smoke when I'm. Well, first of all, I've been broke for damn near the whole time we've been doing this podcast. I haven't been able to afford good weed, but like when I was buying good weed, I would run into situations where people couldn't smoke my weed because it would make them jittery and paranoid. Because I was doing like
I preferred to smoke sativas because it would make me more. I would feel more productive mentally. It would mentally stimulate me to where like, okay, I got shit to, and then I have ADD, right? So it would help me to concentrate. The only thing about smoking, and the only thing about smoking a sativa is if you don't control it yourself, you'll find yourself concentrating for too long on one thing, and then you fuck everything else. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't control it, you need to distribute your concentration so that you can actually be productive, which is why, and again, I understand that we all are different, even as creative writers, comics or whatever. When I used to smoke sativa and stuff, I used to smoke a fair enough amount of weed to write because it would give me that creativity. And like I've told you before, there's jokes. I mean, it's none of like the sets that I'm running now, but back then, there's jokes that I can only credit to marijuana that I would have never written if I was like sober. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But and also because it helped with like my back pain and you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's what I'm talking about. When I would smoke indicas, the indica is, and that's why I've never been a fan. And I've tried a couple different ones, but that's why I've never. I don't. I understand it's a body high. I just don't like the way they make my body feel. And with indicas, I'm not like I'm in a blah state. Like I'm just, I could still be. I've always still been able to function. I can function. It's just like, for example, with an indica, I feel like I function literally at a slower pace. Like I'm just slow, period.
That was where I was going to get to, is if I smoke a blunt of sativa, I'm good. I can sit and smoke that entire blunt. And somebody, immediately comes in the door and goes, we got to go do something important. I'd be like, all right, I'm good. You know what I mean? Might be a little scatterbrained, but
See, and that's what I didn't like. I like to be able to think.
Okay, well, then you shouldn't smoke the entire blunt. But my point is, with the indicas, if I sat and smoked the entire blunt, likely I probably wouldn't smoke the whole blunt in one sitting. Like I'd get to that blah state like pretty quickly, and the lasting high is like it quickly goes beyond, oh man, this feels nice and fluffy, to like, fuck, I just like I'm not tired enough to go to sleep, but I'm not awake enough to function.
The tingling that it would give me when I would smoke indicas, and I'm just being honest with you, like the tingling in my fingers and my shoulders and my toes and in my feet that it would give me, it's the same sensation when your high blood pressure shoots up.
Right.
So I was like, this is not fun. Like, this happens naturally. What the fuck do I want to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so again, to me, it never worked for me. But like with a sativa, it was just, and then with a sativa, like I would smoke like a quarter of a blunt, right?
Right.
And with a quarter of a blunt, I was like, well, let's go. Like I'm ready to get the day started, and I was like, I gotta do this. Like the focus was unbelievable. The only thing that sucked, it was that like it was kind of like coffee. It was very not too short lived. Like the focus would last about an hour and a half, depending on how good the weed was, maybe 2 hours.
Right.
But I didn't have a problem with that because I could just smoke all day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And for the stupidest people in the world that know, you can't overdose on marijuana. It's very highly, almost impossible to do so. So I mean, if you got the right amount of cash, I could smoke all day and, you know, I'd be fine. Which I didn't, and I don't have the right amount of cash. So that's why I'm telling you that there was a point in my life where I was smoking an ounce a day. So it fucking got pricey. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh fuck. Because
you know what, man, I can pretty much plot the trajectory of my own use in a very weird arc where when I was a teenager, I used to smoke. Like when people say penners, they usually mean just like a Virginia Slim, you know, a skinny joint. Mm-hmm. I used to smoke fucking penners, dog, toothpicks. And it was small amounts. I take a couple hits and I walk off and I go do something, you know, come back a little later, hit like that. And then like you were saying, I got to the point where I
used to carry my blunts in cigarette boxes. I used to empty out Marlboro Red cigarette boxes, and I would make half blunts because of the size of the box.
Right.
And I would stick them in there, and I would just carry them. The only thing is that I would carry small pieces of saran wrap, because when I would smoke one, after you burn, if you keep the blunts together, it gives it like this stench when you try to like smoke it again. So I found out that if you wrap it in a little bit of saran wrap, you avoid that. So I would have to, and I would just take one out, you know, crack it open.
That's another reason I'm not a big blunt fan, and actually one of the reasons
I've always been a
don't get me wrong,
blunts
I enjoy a blunt.
I've never been. I mean, like technology is advanced now, and I haven't smoked in a long time. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is how advanced the technology is with bongs now, like gravity bongs, and you got all kinds of shit now.
Yeah,
that's different. Back then, we just had like one kind of bong. Well, I mean,
that's not true, motherfucker. You had to pay a lot more. All right, they were not as prevalent. Like they might have like one or two pieces on the back shelf of the head shop that had like, you know, the triple bubbler distillery.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. When I was smoking weed, we weren't even going to like the smoke shop to buy bongs. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. But like when we started doing, like I remember the first time that I heard of a gravity bong. It's not because we went to the store and, hey, we're buying a gravity bong. They made that out of a fucking 5-gallon bucket and shit.
If somebody showed me a gravity bong they paid for it, I would laugh, and if I was close enough friends with them, I might slap them. No, man. Look, you need a 3-liter and a 2-liter, and you know, a little bit of aluminum foil. As a matter of fact, if you really want to get top grade on it, go buy yourself a big fat bowl, replacement bowl for a bong at a head shop and stick that on top so you have a proper bowl on the motherfucker. But yeah, I get you, man. The low-key stuff. But what I was saying was with the blunts, I enjoy a fresh blunt. But like you said, if the blunt gets stale because it has the tobacco in it, and once the tobacco starts to oxidize, you get that bitterness and all that. And then if you have the flavored,
but the saran wrap,
that'll
helps
keep
with that.
That'll keep the other blunts from tasting like it. But when you go back to relight that blunt, it's still gonna. Yeah. I'm just saying. I mentioned the hemp papers earlier. I have noticed that the hemp blunts, it doesn't go.
But they didn't have those when I was.
Yeah, hey man, look, I'm pushing them because I think that it's a great idea. Yeah. Hemp blunts, motherfucker, cannabis all the way through. Dude, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and it was like we were talking about legalization here in Texas, and it's like, it's almost like we don't have 200 towns in this state that are named after hemp or cannabis or fucking like we used to grow motherfucking cannabis in this state like it was a business because it was, and we fucking good at it. We need to get back to that state. What I'm saying, Freddy, is
for as long as, and I've said this.
Look, if this comedy thing doesn't work out, we grow weed. That's all I'm saying.
I know, and I'm actually you laugh, but that's kind of where I was gonna go with what I'm about
like
to
an
say.
Evil genius.
But first of all, for as long as this state stays a red state, I strongly believe we're never gonna see it. Secondly, leaning away from that,
I'd still like to point out that the closest that we've gotten in the last 20 years to legalization was a bill submitted by the Texas GOP, or at least by a Texas GOP member.
The one that didn't make it to pass the Senate.
I loved his it didn't make it to the vote because it got cut off by the what is it, the president of the House or whatever the fuck. Yeah, fuck that guy. Some asshole out of Corpus. Eat my dick.
Yeah.
Him and Mitch McConnell can burn in the same hell.
Yes, I agree with that.
Pelosi can bring the fucking marshmallows. But what she's
not that bad. I'm not gonna go into detail, but I guess it's also because I've never seen somebody stand up to the president like she has. I don't like a lot.
I'd say you weren't paying attention during Bush then, but that's.
But Bush was retarded. I don't know what other way to say it, but
I'm saying when you're talking about people standing up to
that's what I'm saying. But Bush, okay, let me premise this. Trump, I don't like Trump. Never did. Probably never will. But that's nor here nor there. But something that Trump did when he came in the presidency is Trump came in with a lot of balls. Balls meaning as like. Again, he never had experience in politics, so I guess he didn't know the kind of wall that he was going to hit. But he came in with a lot of balls.
He did the thing that he didn't know he wasn't supposed to do a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying he came in with a lot of balls, and he basically tried to ball his way to doing things. Right. Now, he did. I believe that some things that he did. He got away with because he put his balls first. That's what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is that Pelosi, it was balls on one side, and Pelosi came and she was like, no, my balls are bigger than yours. And he was like, no. But what I'm trying to point out was that still somehow she managed, whether you want to admit it or not, on some issues, she still managed to trample over him per se. And he didn't like that. He has a big ego and a very brittle spirit. So that's why he was a little bitch sometimes. Right. With Bush was kind of like he would push, he would kind of push back, but then when he would see that there was repercussions or that there was something, he was like, okay. And Trump didn't. Trump was like, no, fuck you. And then she was like, no, fuck you. And you know what I'm saying? That's how I see that.
I'll disagree with you on that because when, what was it? 17 to 19 when, or what was it? 17, 18. Anyway, when the Republicans had the House majority as well, there were a lot of things that they pushed back on him on, but they did it quietly through the channels. So basically, they were implementing party will on the administration and doing so in a way that wasn't causing the pushback. Because a lot of the shit where it was like Pelosi.
Well, they said they did the same thing with Obama. They gave Obama a lot of pushback on a lot of things. That's why he wasn't able to do a lot. But they also did it very quietly. That's why people today, that's why I hate when people say, well, it's because Trump didn't deal. I'm sorry. It's because Obama didn't deal with as much backlash as Trump is dealing with now. And I tell them that's such a load of bullshit because Obama, dealt with a lot of backlash, but it just wasn't as public because a lot was done like under wraps. And again, you can say whatever you want to say about Obama. I'll say it myself. There's a lot of things that he did in office that I don't agree with, but there's a lot of things that he did that I feel that he did the best that he could with what he was given to work with. And even given the pushback that he was given, while he was in office, I still feel that he did a moderately good job.
I have a sneaking suspicion that, and this is one of those things you're never going to get solid confirmation on, but I have a sneaking suspicion that one of the reasons that the not Democrats in general, but the Democratic Party was so vitriolic and its push against Trump was that the populism. I mean, like one of the reason right out the gate you start hearing, nationalist, fucking fascist and all this shit. It's like, first of all, he was running a populist campaign, right?
Yeah. And
a lot of that populism probably could have leached off some of the more progressive, not the hardcore, like identitarian type, but like when you talk about progressive as far as actually being, okay, let's try something new.
Yeah.
A lot of that probably would have been siphoned off by a lot of the shit that he was talking about. Even because, look, there are people even.
But he didn't, though.
No, he didn't. But what I'm saying is I think the vitriol that was coming from the DNC, because look, they like you said, with Bush, it was a different story because it wasn't like, they'd call him a moron and all this shit, but they'd let individual people call him a moron. The Democrats as a whole were not coming out and saying this Republican president is a horrible blah, 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 and all this shit. They were just like, they were playing a little bit more even-handed with him.
Yeah.
One, because he's an entrenched name. You know what I mean? You fucking with the Bushes, you're fucking with.
Something that I wanted to throw out there, and so people could also understand that where I kind of stand more so on politics, because I'm not going to fucking explain everything here because we'd be here forever. What I want y'all to know first is that politics is crooked. It always has been. It always will be. That will never change. Whoever gets in there, Democrat, Republican, will always be there for their personal gain. If you disagree with that, I'm fine with that. Just, I hope that at some point you understand that that's really what it is. But this is what I say. When you're given a job with that much power, and you're going to be greedy or whatever, and you're going to do it for personal gain, that's fine. But at least, you know what I'm saying? At least, the only thing that I would ask for is at least try to do 1 or 2 or 3 things at least before you leave that fucking office for the people. At least. So I'll give you some examples real quick. And when I give you these examples, I'm not saying you need to agree with me. You can think of your own examples that you would want that one person to do before they leave or whatever. So, like, for example, the political spectrum has been fucked up for years, as long as I can remember, and probably before I was born, it was still fucked up, right? So what I'm saying is, for example, like I would like for something to be done for education. You know what I'm saying? Give motherfuckers a way to be able to go to school and not have like a huge ass fucking debt before after they leave school so that they can prosper in life or whatever. Shit like that. If after you do some shit like that, you want to steal money or do something for your own agenda or push your own agenda or do it for personal gain, whatever the case is, then fine. But my point is, at least do something while you're in that much power for like somebody else. For, not somebody else, but like for,
okay,
for
this
for
actually
the country.
goes to a lot of the just kind of the sleaziness that I kept getting off of almost every goddamn politician for forever, but specifically during these last 4 years with as much shit as they were throwing at Trump. Like, look, you and me could sit here all day long and just rack up a pile of bullshit about what we don't like about Donald Trump as a human being, as a politician, as an idea, a thought, a symbol.
I will give the man credit for some, because this is another thing I want to say. I don't like him. Never have, never will. Everything that I thought that he was going to do as president, he did, and I told you so. But what I'm saying is something that he did to all of y'all. I'm not saying you because I don't know if you voted for him or not, but for everybody that voted for him or whatever, this is a man that had no political experience, but something genius that I feel that he did is he sold you on, I'm gonna be your greatest president and I'm here for you. So what I'm saying is something that he's very good at is a salesperson. That's why he's a billionaire, right? Whether he's dirty, crooked, or whatever,
okay,
that's
but
a different story.
This goes back to what I'm saying about the immediate vitriol that he was getting as pushback was that since he was running on the populist stance of I'm going to be your greatest president.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not telling you anything. He's not offering you
exactly.
Okay, but the pushback was immediately nothing as well. So it was nothing pushing again. It's like, look what he's doing, and it's like
because you have to understand, and I'm not saying that you disagree with it. You have to understand that on the other side, which is the blue side or whatever, there was never ever a strong enough candidate to oppose. You think back, and
bullshit. Obama was a populist.
No, hold on, time out. That's not what I'm saying. When he was running back in 18, 17?
16. You talking about Trump?
Trump, yeah. 16. So when he was running or whatever, I'm talking about when he started running,
right?
On the blue side, there was no strong candidate that stronger than him. You know what I'm saying? To really push back.
Right.
Think of all of them. And I don't know all of them. I don't remember all of them. But think of all of them. There really wasn't.
At that point in time, we didn't know.
Because
people didn't quite realize how much of a pussy Bernie Sanders was. People still thought he was a fucking
because Bernie was running
to the wall.
Because Bernie was running, unfortunately for Bernie, and I'm not.
But this goes to what I'm saying. They screwed over Sanders in 2016. They had to screw over Sanders because he was actually offering a platform, a genuine platform on things he wanted to accomplish.
Exactly.
Or they couldn't. Yes. The candidate Clinton was
you get it
completely antithetical to that platform.
You get it.
And here's the thing: the Trump platform, as vapid and shallow as it was closer to Sanders' platform than it was to Clinton.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is the immediate screaming wasn't genuine.
You understand why though? Like that's what I'm trying to tell you. The reason that
Bernie Sanders would have completely taken the party away from him. They'd have had a fucking influx of it's basically what's happening in the Libertarian Party right now, where you're getting an influx of progressives in because
what I'm saying is Trump won the presidency. Period. Right. Trump won the presidency of his on his brilliant tactics of being able to sell you a product. He made himself a product, a populist product.
Right.
And he said, I'm, in very little words, I'm here for you. And I'm here to save the country.
I will only push back in this. I don't think he was initially the product. I think there was, at least at the beginning there, the idea of a platform. A platform exists somewhere, and this, we will make America great again type of thing.
No.
I will agree that now he is the product, which is why you have this almost cult-like following that's going around.
I feel, well, I mean, that too, but I feel that
I just think that grew.
He sold, I see, and I disagree with that. I feel that he saw America as a product. He said it in some of his speeches when he was running for president. He said, I don't remember word for word, but he said, I'm a great businessman and I've done this with my companies or whatever. I can steer the country in a prosperous direction. He didn't say it in those words, but that's what he meant. Mm-hmm. What he didn't tell you, and of course, like every good salesman, they're not going to tell you. He didn't fucking tell you how many times he's gone bankrupt on his personal
right. But more importantly, he wasn't telling you what he was going to do. He was just.
But that's what I'm trying to.
All he was really doing was identifying people's issues.
That's what I'm trying to.
Like, he didn't say, like, we're going to have immigration reform. He'd just say immigration, and people would go, yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what a good salesman does. A good salesman just tells you how good this is, but they don't tell you how they're going to keep it good or how they're going to make it better.
Well, what I was getting to was, part of the frustration was that you have this, this loud, brash salesman on one side who's trying to sell me a product that I know is bullshit. And on the other side, instead of having somebody trying to loudly and brashly sell me an alternating competing product, I just have a bunch of people screaming about how much of a shithead the other guy is. Yeah. It's like, I figured that out for myself. I didn't need you for that. What I need from them is a viable, or at least competently constructed alternative solution.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I've been trying to tell you from the beginning of this part of the conversation. You're never, we are never gonna get that in politics. Never. Because it's very simple. Like, politics are straight bullshit. And it's always been straight bullshit, because the people that have been placed in power, they've been placed in power for their own personal gain. The only thing is that they cannot stand on a podium and they can't tell you, I'm here for my personal gain. You understand what I'm saying? Whenever this dude leaves office, you're going to get you already have, my bad. You already have somebody else. This other dude that is stepping in office, he's going to be there for his personal gain. He's going to be there for his personal agenda. And whoever his buddies are that are giving him contributions, he's like, hey, I'm going to give you this, but you need to do this for me, basically. And after him, in 4 years or in 8 years, you're going to have somebody else, and they're going to continue to do this. It's going to be a never-ending cycle until finally somebody comes and breaks that cycle and is actually there for the people. Now, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Will that ever happen?
Let's see. The Jews have been waiting for 6,000 years at this point, so maybe not.
For that's a different story. But for
if you go back and read the original interpretations, they were waiting for a politician. That's what they wanted. They wanted a good representative in government.
I disagree. Those are Sean's sole views, and those are not mine.
When they said king, they meant king. They weren't fucking lying.
But when we're never gonna have it You're just not.
Okay, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. What I'm saying is what we're seeing right now is extraordinary in the sense that we're not getting.
This is the point. This is the point I was trying to make.
We're getting a warping of the dichotomy rather than a switch, which usually we get like the Democrats slowly become more Republican, the Republicans slowly become more Democrats. But what's happening right now is they're not changing position, but they're warping nonetheless. Like you can't. If somebody tells me they're a Democrat or Republican, that tells me nothing. That literally tells me nothing. Yeah. It doesn't even tell me who they voted for in the last election. I mean, that's how fucking nonsensical any of this stuff
is. But this is what leads me back to my original argument on this part of the conversation. That at least when you're there, try to do at least one thing for the try to do, you know how like when you get it, when you apply for a job at Best Buy and at H-E-B, Walmart, whatever, let's not go that difficult. You go to a job, what do? We all know that you bullshit your way through that interview. Yes, I'm going to do this. I'm the greatest person that you can hire. I'm the greatest person for this position, so on and so forth, until you get it. When you get it, you do none of the shit that you promised that you were going to do. That's all the fuck I'm saying. Like, people are going to keep coming and people are going to be there for their personal agenda. You're there for that paycheck at H-E-B. That's why you applied for that job and you said everything and anything that was right for you to get that job. Which is, it's not fine, but it's fine. Whatever. I'm not arguing that point. What I'm saying is, at least when you're there, do one thing for the people, which is what you were supposed to be, the reason that you were put there in the first place. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Same thing at H-E-B. If you're not going to do anything that you promised that you were going to do, you know what I'm saying, as an employee of this corporation, at least show up to the damn job. You know what I'm saying?
This is probably another reason as to why the people that are still enamored with Trump are still enamored with Trump. Because since he came in offering nothing, he was offering concepts rather than nothing. He at least addressed the concepts. He didn't do anything about it.
I disagree on that. I believe that the people, I didn't understand. After all the bullshit that he did when he was president, I didn't understand why so many people still supported him, right? But then now I understand. And again, this is my personal opinion, can differentiate from everybody else. But now I understand that millions of people still support him because something that he did do, and he did do vigorously and very openly, he took the cover off of just how racist this country alone still is, right? So, because this country has always been
4 years, and that's what you got away from it.
Whoa, hold on. Let me. Yeah, but to answer your question directly, yes, but he because the country's always been racist, right? But because at least before Trump, a lot of the candidates would kind of frown upon racism openly. They would frown. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Whatever. A lot of the racist people that still live in this country would seclude and don't show your true colors. Don't show your true colors because then they're gonna think you're a dick. Trump came and he was the cool kid. He was the cool kid, the cool bully that told you that it's okay to be yourself and basically that it's okay to be a piece of shit to other people. And he basically made racism and hate okay amongst us. So then when people saw that, they were like, okay, well, if somebody in such a glorious position is doing that and he's still there and it's okay, like he's speaking for me and I can be like him, you know what I'm saying? So he basically made it seem like all that shit was okay, and that's why now there's millions upon millions of people that still support him, because he was the picture child of how America feels, of how America really feels inside. That was an inner look on America and their true feelings or whatever.
I'm going to push back just a little bit because I actually had funny enough, pun intended, I had a bit that I was working very briefly back in 2016 that was basically the argument that Trump was our superego. Trump is how the rest of the world sees America. Obama is how we think of ourselves. And Bush is how we actually are.
Yeah.
But
yeah, exactly.
But the rest of the world,
yes.
Like, all right, look, like
that is actually a very good fucking way.
That's one of the few jokes I've gotten congratulated on immediately.
Actually,
and I immediately stopped doing that joke.
That is one of the best ways that you can put it. Obama is how we think we are.
Yeah.
And Trump is how we really are. I agree with that 1,000%.
Okay, but the important part is that what the point I was trying to get at least in that piece of material, was Bush is how we actually are. That's like
retarded
for the most part. But no, middle of the road. Like, you know, he's a hardcore conservative. No, he's not. No. He's a fucking, forward thinking business. No, he's not.
With Bush, I don't know, dude. The Bush administration, that's a whole different animal. Like, the Bush administration fucked up the country. Like, it's just, but that's different. Like, the Bush, I don't know. It's different. That's a whole different explanation that I would have to go into.
Look, but here's the thing, though. I will still argue to this point. Now that we are completely done with the Trump administration, I will argue at this point, Bush was worse. Okay, up and down. Not as a person, not as a human being. That's subjective as hell. I'm saying worse. Objectively, the Bush administration over those 8 years, even the first 4 years, was worse for this country, for the fucking world, for our soul as Americans than the Trump administration was. Because what we're dealing with right now, as you said, was a taking off of the cover. We're basically dumping all our garbage out into public, and now we have to pick it up. We got to figure out what's going on with all this. The parties aren't going to stand past this. This is going to be I'm not even sure what the proper analogy would be for this in terms of how we're going to have to re-identify ourselves. Because, like, Trump, is how the rest of the world sees us.
We have a lot of work to do, but I honestly don't think that we as a whole have found the answer.
Oh, no.
To not even close. No. That's what I'm trying to tell you. To even get started to clean up our shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I mean as far as the parties falling apart.
It's funny how a person like me, I stick to what I've said many times on this podcast before. Just be nice, man. Like that. I think that be nice and think outside of yourself. I think that's the key to a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? I think that if we were to think for other people, like say, and it's kind of hard to take it from me because I'm not rich. I don't have money. I don't have anything, right? But I'm just saying, I'm not saying give your money away either and give your riches and shit like that. But I'm just saying, if everybody would just do something else for somebody else, like every now and again, like just, I believe the simple act of that would go a long way. But it's just the fact that we're so infatuated with, again, ourselves and our personal gain. It's like, bro, I'm not going to do anything for you if I can't get anything out of it myself. Even long term. You know what I'm saying?
I would say that another problem on top of that is me being able to convince you that my personal gain is your personal gain, which is not
true
always.
either.
Now, if I come to you and say, hey, if we do this, both of us will personally gain. Okay. I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
But then, okay. Well, so you said both of us will personally gain. Okay, but if we both personally gain, will the neighbor gain too? That's what you need to think about. It has to be. What I'm saying is, it has to be a domino effect in order for the country to be impacted.
Well, fair enough. Let's say that's maybe how you should judge the action is, okay, how many, if I do this, I benefit this many people. Okay, how can I make that benefit more people?
And it's very simple. Again, to me, it's very simple. It's very fucking simple. Let me try to simplify it on a bigger spectrum. It's very simple, bro. You're broke. I'm broke, right? But people like Mark, Jeff, Bill, Warren, they're as far away from broke as you possibly can. Now, we have a system in place in this country, and it's as old as the country is. It's called taxes, right? So it's real simple. Simple. You don't even need to understand taxes completely to look at this. My question is very simple. Why would you take more from the people that have less and take less from the people that have more? Again, it goes back to what I've been saying for the past hour. Because everybody's infatuated with personal gain. And the fact of the matter is that in this country and around the world...
Now, here's how you know that's not entirely true. How the fuck do you get 350 million people to vote against their own self-interest? I mean, look, I'm not going to say that there's not a greed streak that runs right through the heart of America. That's not
what I'm saying. But that's a good point. That's a good point that I was also going to point out. But this is more so to the excuse that they use. Keep using the fucking excuse of the country's broke. There's no money for that. There's no money for that. But then there is a $700 billion fund for the military. That's a whole different story. But just look at that. This is another way of like how I back up my argument. Last time I checked, there's 363 million Americans in the country, right? 363 million Americans that live here and that get taxed every year, right?
Yeah.
So think about it. If every, and this is not true, but I just think minimalist. If every American got taxed $1, how much is that a year? And nobody gets taxed $1. Mm-hmm. But that's $360 million that the government takes in tax money. Mm-hmm. And you're gonna tell me that the country's broke? You know what I'm saying? Now, that you're misplacing the money, that you're using, you're fucking using it for...
That's the important part, though, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
look... That's not my problem.
Okay, first of all...
But you're making it my problem.
I don't know if I've ever actually said this to you. I am completely against income tax, up and down, no two ways about it. Don't believe it works. Don't believe it's a righteous activity. Actually think it's kind of fucking evil. You're telling me that my productivity, a percentage of my productivity is owed to anyone else? No. Now,
I kind of did. Why not?
Okay, if I use the roads, I pay taxes on the roads. Uh-huh. If I use the banking system, I pay taxes on that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. If I use school, if I use sewage, blah, blah, blah. Where in that does that involve my productivity?
Because you live here? And
I'm paying you for the roads, for the sewage, for all. Yeah. I'm paying you when those services are provided. Mm-hmm. Why the fuck should I pay you for some idea of fucking like that's what income tax is basically the productivity of the nation is reinvested into the nation.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Give me a receipt. Give me a fucking itemized receipt.
But do you understand?
Point of contact.
But you need to understand, and I'm not saying
all you're doing is getting me used to the idea of giving you part of my money. Like that's not okay. Think about the way we do sales tax.
Hold on. But they're doing it. I'm not saying that they're right, but I'm explaining to you why they're doing the model.
So they get you to the idea, used to the idea of being robbed.
Well, yeah.
If I rob you every Tuesday, on Tuesday you're gonna have my money.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is. Basically,
and more importantly, if you don't have my money and I kick your ass, your neighbor goes, well, he didn't have his money on Tuesday. Should have had his money on Tuesday. We all know Tuesday's the day we pay the robber.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying, but on the other end, I also get that, and I get it, bro. I get it's fucked up. I get it sounds fucked up.
I'm not against taxes, by the way. That's not what I said.
What I'm saying is, you have to basically pay taxes because you live here. And you live here so you benefit from living here. How do you benefit from it? And again, I'm not for the way taxes are used. That's what I'm not for. But what I'm saying is...
Okay, but part of the reason that the taxes are used in the way that they're used is because they have a surplus that they have to get rid of. And because of that, they just find new things to spend the money on.
Exactly. But that's what we both agree on that they shouldn't do. What I'm trying to tell you is that if the tax money was used, and this is where you're probably going to push back on me on, but I'm trying to get you to see the bigger picture. If the taxes, if every dime...
Anyone ever tells you to see the bigger picture, just put your hand on your wallet.
If the taxes were used, if every penny of the tax dollar that was used for what they say that they were going to use it, I guarantee you there wouldn't be any poverty.
Okay.
I guarantee you that a lot of these financial issues that me and you, not the rich folks, me and you, the middle class or broke people, whatever you want to call it, that we experience, we wouldn't have to, deal with or struggle with. There would be enough money for a free education because you wouldn't have people taking advantage of that money. Right now they're telling you, and they're
what you just proved my point. Well, we have all this extra money that we're not spending. We should spend it on something. I'm saying don't take money unless you have something to spend it on. If there are roads that need to be built, by all means, send an equal fucking bill to everybody that's going to be using that goddamn road. Same thing with the schools. Same thing with the sewage. Personally, I think land property tax needs to be overhauled completely, but that's another thing. Again,
I would
service.
I would vote for you for president if you could change that.
Taxation at point of service. Again, are you being provided with roads, with mail, with sewage?
But that property tax is different because you own the property.
Right, but think about it. They're basically saying a percentage of your value, which is a fictional fucking thing. Oh, your house is worth more because you have a pool in the back as opposed to your neighbor who actually has decent fucking insulation.
Do you know why that's value? Because when you go to resell that property, if this house is bigger than, it's just an example. If this house is bigger than that one, and this house has a pool in the back, and that one doesn't, it's logical that this property would be valued more. You know why? We go back to what we were talking about 2 hours ago or whatever.
Okay, it's more valuable to the people who are purchasing it.
Yeah,
it is not more valuable to the people, to the larger community. Again.
Well, no, because it's not theirs.
Motherfucker, you just proved my point. That's what I'm saying. If we're all we live on the same street. You have you've got 2.5 acres. I've got 2.5 acres, but your house is bigger. How the fuck does that affect me? We both are receiving the same services. We both get the same water, the same electricity, the same sewage, the same schools, the same mass transportation. Why the fuck should our bill be different? Do you understand what I'm saying here? I'm not saying that there shouldn't be a bill. By all means, if you live there, you should.
But that's when the you just said it, when the land is like the exact same. Like if we
No, I'm not saying what's on the land. I'm saying
no. The actual land, like the land.
Okay, if you own 3.5 acres and I own 2.5 acres, then yeah, you should be paying a little bit more on taxes.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's not what it's valued by.
Exactly.
If you have 2.5 and I have 2.5, but your house is, but you spent $1 million on your house, all of a sudden my property tax goes up. How the fuck does that make any sense?
Yeah, that's different.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You were dealing with arbitrary and fictionalized values where you can't get an itemized receipt. They can't actually show you on paper.
Because they're not, again, we go back to my point, because they are not using that money properly. So they don't want to show you.
They don't have to use that money properly.
Exactly.
Because you've already agreed to give them a percentage.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Until that's why I am firmly and irrevocably against income tax. The idea that a percentage of my productivity and value is owed to anybody.
That's why I used to. That was one of the punchlines on one of the jokes that I used to run a long time ago. That I don't remember the joke, but I used to say, and I don't even fucking remember how I placed the punchline, but I used to say, why do I have to pay Uncle Sam if he didn't work none of the fucking 40 hours? I didn't see him at work that week. I was in that bitch by myself. So I'm against that too, man. But I go back to the greed, the greed that people have, and also what you said earlier. We as people, unfortunately, because we're stupid, we already agreed on, okay, it's fine for you to rob me of this money. So because you've already agreed upon that, they're not going to retract and be like, oh, okay, well, let's start not robbing them that much.
Essentially, my great-grandfather sold them my leash, and they keep yanking on it.
Even though, and this is the only thing that I agree on so far, if it's true. I don't even know if it's true yet. On what the Biden administration supposedly started working on last week. They're working on a bill. They're going straight for it. I don't think it's going to get past the Senate, but they're working on a bill to try to wipe out student debt. So I believe that is a step in the right direction. But what I would do, because they keep saying the country's broke, we have no money. Okay, fine. You know what? Don't forgive my debt, and I'm talking about my personal student debt, because I studied for something, and I'm not putting what I studied for at use, right? But what I'm saying is, for people that studied to be like a teacher, a college professor, something like, if you studied to be that productive person or whatever, and if your student debt is not allowing you to do that, then forgive their debt. You know what I'm saying? Because that is stopping them from them being, prosperous or whatever, using their degree in that. That's one of those things, man, that I strongly do believe. Give those people that little push, like with student debt, forgive student debt. It kind of fucks me right now as well. I'm trying to do something personally for my kid, you know what I'm saying? And I can't do it because of my student debt. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'll do you one better. Go ahead and forgive all the student debt because they have that ability.
And I do understand that it's a lot of money, but still.
It's fictional money. It doesn't exist.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, we're not going to get into that whole discussion about whether money's real or not. But what I'm saying is,
no, I'm talking about the debt. The debt is just a number.
Oh yeah. The debt itself is all.
It's a number that somebody wrote, and
yeah. And unfortunately, somebody is looking at it like it's a fucking deduction, or not a deduction. The word escapes me because I don't own stocks. But my point is, go ahead and forgive the debt and then stop issuing government-backed loans. Okay? Yeah. At all.
Wait, time out. I have a question. Does that include grants? Because see, grants are considered federally.
I would, but I understand there's an argument not to. It's like, look,
because that's the slippery slope.
How's it a slippery slope?
Because there is people. It's very simple. There is, unfortunately, people that will never get ahead in life because of their financial situation.
Yeah,
I know people.
They were in school for 12 years. The government didn't help them at all during that. Their education didn't help them at all during that. How the fuck is another 4 years, 8 years, 10 years, 2 years, whatever the fuck you... All right, 2 years. 2 years actually might be a good one.
Because of how corporate America is, and I literally mean corporate America, is structured. They also need to stop forcing people to, hey, we have this job, but if you don't show me this piece of paper, I can't let you in the door. They need to stop. Again, I've preached this for such a long time on this podcast. There is other ways to gain skill to get ahead in life. And I'm saying there is ways and there is people that if you give them the opportunity, just an example, if you give somebody the opportunity to take the role of being or working their way up to CEO of JP Morgan Chase without an education, there is people that and there's people there's not. There's people that are just not going to get there. But there is people in the world that I believe are able to have the mental capacity to learn how to do that shit. And they don't need a piece of paper to tell them, okay, he has this degree from Harvard. You are now a runner-up. Just a runner-up, because you still got to go through a bunch of other bullshit to become the CEO of JP Morgan Chase or whatever. So stop telling people that they need a piece of paper in order for you to give them a shot. That's why I appreciate, to a certain extent, CEOs like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. I don't agree with a lot of some of the other tactics that I've known of that they do. But I just point these two out because they've publicly said before, especially Elon Musk. He says, I don't even give a shit if you have a high school diploma. If you can show me that you can do the job that you're trying to get from me, go ahead. And he says himself, I also feel that there is people that can go on that can go and learn that particular position or job by somebody training them, and they don't need a piece of paper from unaccredited somewhere to tell me that, oh yeah, this person can or whatever.
Okay, well, and in that case, next week we can spend 3 hours discussing how faulty government regulation has incentivized corporations.
And every single fucking time that we step into politics, we always end up with 3-hour podcasts, which I'm not complaining, but I mean, it's just too much. I'm not going to say I stay away from it. I'm always willing to talk about anything, any subject. I don't shy away from anything. But it's just politics. I always want to make sure that we have time and that we have enough coffee. Because, at this point, I'm getting cranky because I haven't had real coffee.
Well, I had coffee this morning and my bladder is about to bust. So let's go ahead and close this down and we'll go and deal with some shit. Give them your socials, Freddy. I know you ain't on right now, but
y'all can still catch me on Instagram. For now, that's where I'm at. And like you've heard earlier in this podcast, and if you didn't, I encourage you to go back and listen. I again reconfirmed I am having my first show in almost, it'll be more than 12 months by then. If I don't perform from there, if I don't perform from now till then, it'll be 14 months exactly since the last time I've been on stage. The last time I was on stage was March of 20.
Yeah.
I mean, March 20th of 2020, I think. Yeah, 2020. So yes, I'm having my first show in almost over a year in Lincoln, Nebraska, April 2nd. Everybody in Lincoln, I have a couple of friends that live up there that I've met through him and my brother. So my Lincoln people, I'm heading up there. Can't wait to do it. And everybody that supported me, I thank you. I'll try to bring back some footage from my trip and everything. But yeah, that's all I got. You can get me on Instagram at Freddy G.
You can find me at Hatfield Stand Up on Facebook, Twitter, and there was something else, but I can't remember what the hell it was. You can also reach out and get in touch at hatfieldstandup@gmail.com. If you'd like to listen to the audio version of this podcast, you can go to shoutengine.com/bouncing brains. You can also listen on Stitcher and Spotify. That's right. We are now on Spotify.
Oh shit! You had to tell me on air.
Yeah, who got the surprise, motherfucker? You were like, you gonna be surprised? And, well, look who's surprised now. Yes, we are on Spotify.
We are now on Spotify. Shit.
And you can find the video versions of this episode. Does not have video. We will have video next week, but you can find the videos on YouTube under Bouncing Brains. Give us a search, like, share, subscribe, all that good nonsense. There was something else I was going to mention here at the end, but it is escaping me. If you would like to reach out and get in touch with us, of course, you can leave a comment on any place that you can, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. You can also reach out to us at bouncingbrainspodcast@gmail.com, as well as Bouncing Brains Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and there was something else, but I forget it. So, what we've learned today, kids, is don't drink shitty coffee, don't smoke too much weed, don't do too many mushrooms. If you do peyote, expect to see your dead soul and
dead body.
Huh?
He said he saw his body, dead body, not dead soul.
How does he know, man? He was on drugs.
And drop a comment if you believe
I can fly.
That I should not piss on little girls. If you think that I should try shrooms again, I'm thinking about it. Not sure. Does that come out if I pee in a cup? Because
I think there are tests, but I don't think the regular ones do. So hashtag 1 gram for Freddy. 1 gram for Freddy. Thanks for coming, folks.
And until next time, keep it tight. All right, man, let's go get that coffee. Until next